Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy, Dr. Okwebanwo, live on the Fearless Netpreneur podcast. And today, I've got a doozy for you. It's going to be a double day. This morning, we're going to be having one of those most enigmatic guys you hear about. You hear about paparazzi. You hear about those who train paparazzi. You hear about those who cast the news. You hear about those who do the news. He's one of those OGs out there that is going to be breaking it down for us on the side of social media, the media, and how it affects you and affects me. I'm so excited to have this gentleman here with us today. And then later tonight, we are going to be having Luis Estrella, the prompt engineering king. Tonight is his day. But for this morning, you guys know what we do every day is bring you Hotseat conversations with game changers. That is those who are making a difference in their industry. People who can give you something that you can take away as something that you have learned. That's why I bring them here. As always, like about 90 minutes of extensive Hotseat interview where our guest will be taken to the limits in his profession, how it works, how can we get involved, and how can he help us to be better? Because at the end of the day, the Fearless Netpreneur is about your pocket. How are you going to get something in your pocket? So you want to be ready today to learn as much as you can about media, social media, and everything surrounding it with this gentleman that we're having today. Before I bring him up, let me just say a little bit about him. I met him briefly for the first time on a place called Clubhouse. I didn't know who he was, but I noticed something that a lot of people were giving him deference. A lot of people were giving him respect. So I decided to go check him out, which is the way I do. Okay, that in our language they say it's a foolish man that doesn't know who passed him, and then a foolish man that does not know who he passed. In simple English, it means you have to know those who are above you in the game, and you also need to know those who are below you in the game, so that you know how to relate to them. This one is above me in the game. When I see people that I respect, that I call my idols, actually give him respect. So I went to check him out, only to find out that the man is a very accomplished media personality. His name is 10G Colin. That's what they call him, but I call him Colin Drumond. I still don't feel call him 10G. He's going to be explaining in a minute, but that's what all his friends call him. 10G is a trailblazing street journalist with a rich background in traditional and social media. He's a former force behind TMZ's political coverage. We all know TMZ, one of those always coming up with one scandal or the other about political figures. It was actually one of the forces behind that. It now empowers companies and individuals to craft content and cash in on their expertise, which is where you come in. Because it's going to be showing some of the questions we're going to be discussing today will be how you can be empowered to craft content and to cash in on your own expertise. With his finger on the pulse of trends and technology, Colin is the go-to guru for amplifying online presence and widening audience reach, which is what all of us are trying to do. He embodies the essence of tenacity and passion in his craft, and those are two words I love. Guys, welcome with me, the great 10G in person. How are you, sir?
I appreciate Dr. OB, man, and just blessed to be here, and thank you for having me. Even want me on your podcast. That means a lot.
Thank you so much. First, I want to appreciate you personally for taking a chance on me. You don't really know me so well. I'm not a notable figure out there, but you did something that really impressed me, and I'm forever grateful for it. I was expecting that when I approach you, you're going to say, well, go send me the link of your podcast. I want to know how big or small you are. But you didn't even hesitate. You said you are happy to support a black brother doing something. That meant a lot to me because the few discrimination I would say I've seen is from fellow black brothers in America. We're going to come to that later. And you just received me like that. I didn't have much problem with the white guys. I'll be honest with you. When I talk to them, they're generally more accommodating, but my black brothers. So I was nervous a bit when I was going to ask you that what if this guy just shrugs me off? How am I going to feel? But I told myself, well, if you don't ask, you're not going to know.
And that's the space I come from. I come from, not being afraid of the nose. But the important thing for me, I'm always looking at new talent and giving people not just a chance, but the opportunities that they have. You're going to see them at that stage, and they will always remember that. And that's one of my golden rules when it's always come to building relationships. And that's something, I've been super big on.
Awesome, awesome. So, and I'm sure my fans will be delighted. Watchers of the Fearless Netpreneur podcast will be excited as we go into this today. So, guys, we are live with Colin Drumond. Excuse my typo there, the former Washington bureau chief for TMZ and a 2 times Emmy Award nominee. I never knew I was going to ever talk to somebody who has even been close to Emmy, not talk less about being nominated. It's a big thing in Africa. When the thing comes out, we all make a big deal out of it. And we are live with one of those guys who not only has covered it, but himself has been nominated for one of those awards a couple of times. So it's going to be a great day today. All right. Let's just start out with the little things from my own selfish purpose here. Every time I see them talk to you, they say 10G. What exactly is 10G? How did you come about that?
Okay. So this is something I learned early on. I used to with one of Michael Jackson's bodyguards, and hearing him tell a story. Most people don't realize when Michael Jackson was at his heights, and he used to wear the glove on the one hand, and people always say, why just a glove on the one hand? What does that, mean? And it was the reason why he did it. It was a conversation starter. So it's always you have to have something that's gonna pique people's curiosity. And me for 10G, like being ahead of the curve when we're right now we're at the technology stage where it was on 3 and 4. We're going to be on 10G in a minute. On the frequency of everybody, and that's what it's always big on when being ahead and understanding where everything is going.
Awesome. Okay, mystery solved. Well, I've been wondering every time I hear 10G. I'm like, okay, when I get him on my hot seat, it's going to be one of those questions. Thank you for answering that. Before we even go deeper, see, I will be remiss. What everybody's talking about all over the world right now is threads, and Twitter, right? Yes. Because that outfit in less than 3 days is gotten 90 million people. Guys, if you don't know what thread is, you need to be on threads right now. I better be following me right there. I'm going to put my link out there. You guys need to get in there. Threads is the absolute banger right now that is rocking the world. It's like Twitter, or call it a challenge to Twitter. They even said so. Mark Zuckerberg's latest offering, he decided he was going to go after Twitter for the space of tweeting, and then he started this thing called Threads. And Threads is an amazing thing in terms of achievement. 93 million as of yesterday night when I went to bed. And it was just about 3 days old. No other app has ever come close.
Nope.
The fastest, which is ChatGPT, got to 1 million after 5 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Threads got to 93 million in 3 days. So my question for you, 10G, is what are your thoughts on this developing war between Twitter and Facebook on the new Threads app? Because Twitter has gotten its lawyers to send a cease and desist letter to Facebook, and they're already threatening they're going to is war. Elon Musk already tweeted about it. He called Zuckerberg a cheat. Now, what are your thoughts from your own industry perspective? Is this more theater? Is this serious? What do you think about it all?
Right now, when I look at that, it's like Mark Zuckerberg these days, he's playing chess, and Elon Musk is still at checker stage, because what happened is, Zuck, he saw an opening right away. He saw that people were leaving that platform and were dissatisfied with what Elon Musk was doing over there. And he already had now a lot of his co-workers, a lot of his ex-employees from Twitter coming over to Facebook. And when you get, timing is everything. And that's one thing I've always been big on, in understanding timing and how you use it. So with them already developing it way before and trying to figure out how to put threads in, they didn't even wait till it was fully all the way developed. They just pushed it out there, and it caught everybody by surprise, because you didn't hear anything about like they were leading up to this. And so where more people could go, and they bring people in and to figure it out and let them work on it and see, put any promotions out to it. They literally dropped it, and what we call in our world, that's like a shock drop. And that shock drop was enough to create FOMO, and with the fear of missing out from other people. So what Mark Zuckerberg is doing, it's beyond their belief that they could have grown like this at this point right now. But it's just, it's so easy, and people now are at that stage where, man, just the functions on here, and it's so clean. And so they have also taken a page out of Apple's book, where they've made everything just fluid. And when you have that, and you have people, and this is not just a shiny new object, because there are a lot of people who aren't fans of Mark Zuckerberg, but you see, he hasn't been the one in the forefront of it, and that was a genius way as well. All they started doing was saying Threads by Meta or anything like that. It wasn't like Elon Musk is doing this, and that's the difference. Because when people don't start vibing to if you have a product or service and you're the face behind it, it kind of stops. It doesn't even want to give people a chance to look at it. So them just dropping it the other way, and as a shock drop, and not giving people awareness to say, hey, Mark Zuckerberg is behind us. We don't really like him either. Not giving it a chance. They put it out there and let people try it out, and then it's like everybody's in love with it. And it's going to go to the moon. It's no stopping it. The toothpaste is out the tube. You can't put it back in, no matter about with Elon Musk trying to, sue on. All that is just showmanship. That's all. It's going nowhere.
Really? Okay, well, let's talk about that a bit, because that is your forte. So I can afford to spend some time on these threads and Twitter. Now, beyond the tantrum that Elon Musk is throwing, I expect him to throw the tantrum. But do you really think that Threads is going to dethrone Twitter on the micro tweeting industry? Because they're basically the same. I have Threads, and I encourage everybody watching this right now, if you haven't gone to Threads yet, you need to go in there and please follow me, so that you can be getting updates on this, my Fearless podcast show. But my question to you is, from what I see there, and I want to be very, very objective here, I love Threads. I already got more than 1,000 followers there. But my point is, it looks like a very poor copy of Twitter. Okay. There's nothing you can do on Threads right now that you cannot do on Twitter. And there's a lot of stuff you can do on Twitter that you cannot do on Threads. Yes, I agree. Threads is catching fire right now, right? 93 million in 3 days is not something anybody should sneeze at. It took LinkedIn 1 year to get to 1 million.
Right.
So you get an idea, guys. For those of you at home, it took ChatGPT 2.5 months, okay, to get to 100 million. They are getting there in 3 or 4 days. So what do you think? But I don't see much to it other than the exterior.
See, okay, the thing about, does Threads bring a new type of experience versus what Twitter, and you're saying it has the same thing. The difference is, this is not just new. They haven't even put all the bells and whistles on there yet. You're looking at 3 days of I'm just using it. And if you notice, each day it's been something else applied to it that's going to enable you to start, doing it, having the normal feel of a social media platform. In a minute, it's going to be where they're going to have all the bells and whistles. They're going to have the new things. But what's more important, what people don't understand, and it's not a big talk yet, but you're going to start hearing about it. It's a new thing happening with social media, whereas the people that you grow on these platforms with, you're going to be able to take them off that platform. And when a new platform goes, you're going to bring all that audience with you. That's big, because you don't lose them. And say, for instance, if I want to leave Clubhouse, or I want to leave Threads, or if I want to leave YouTube, and I want to bring them on a new platform that's already taken off, I can bring all the people with me. That's something that's valuable, especially as a business person, or just some people that want to have their same core people. You don't want to have to send out new links or emails. Come follow me over here, or have to be discovered all over again. You know, this is like we're in a space now with social media where you're going to be able to build your core audience and your community, and you're going to be able to travel all together. And that's going to be something that is like the new things that's going to be happening over at Threads versus Twitter. And the other thing I will say is you're going to start seeing people, all those people that are dedicated to Twitter, have been there for years, and then they stay there, not leaving and not leaving. Gradually, as more people stop being on there, most people, especially business, you're going to go where the action is at. You're not going to be at the ballpark where nobody's playing the game anymore and just start memories of the good games that used to be there. Those days are over. You're going to go and want to watch and be involved with what's happening, the conversations, the new things, the breaking stories. You want to be able to be part of engaging and putting your 2 cents in on things. So that's what they're going to make. It's just like, just think of it like this. It's a club. There's one club that's a sophisticated club, and there's a club over here where all the action and the real party is happening. And you're like, man, I want to be sophisticated and be over here with these people. But man, I want to have fun. And this is where everything looks nice over here. So that's, you know, my interpretation of where things are going to go and it's going to happen.
Okay, well, I respect that. I just don't see Threads taking out Twitter. I don't see it happening. Maybe they have to bury Elon Musk first. I don't know.
Well, when they incorporate social media, I mean social voice, the app like podcast, I mean like Clubhouse or some social audio involved with there, it's going to be game changer. They're going to have something. You have to look at Facebook, well, Meta, whatever it is. They're like the Cheesecake Factory in these restaurants. They give you everything you need. They give you video, they give you shorts, everything they're going to supply you with. So you're going to come to that restaurant and they have all the servants for you.
Incidentally, before we rest that's what I actually think is the Achilles heel of Facebook. Right now, Facebook is basically losing its identity. We don't know what it stands for anymore. First, Mark Zuckerberg decided he wants to go do audio. After less than 6 months, he had to back it out. Okay? Then he said, we are not changing our name. We are now Meta. Now he went into Metaverse, spent billions there. We don't know what's going on there. We have not heard anything from him in over a year and a half. He failed there. Now he's going after Twitter. Meanwhile, the brand identity, the brand positioning of Facebook is not to be the potpourri. So because when you go after everything, you basically don't stand for anything. And I think that is the danger Zuckerberg is doing with Facebook. That's why they are losing members. Yeah, they are still number one, but TikTok is about to take them out. Okay? In another 1 year, probably TikTok will have more members. I don't know. I don't know about all this wanting to be everything to everybody. I don't know that's a good strategy.
It's not just with the strategy. Just remember that all these platforms have a run and they're not relevant anymore. They don't stick around for the test of time. What has Mark Zuckerberg been able to do? Stick around for the test of time. He's like Apple, Microsoft, and the greats that just doesn't dissolve. They didn't have a one-night hit or one, good invention. He's been able to just look at the brilliance that he had when he was able to purchase Instagram for whatever it was, 1.1 billion or whatever, and people looked at it, that's dumb. Why would you give a camera app something like that? And what it turned out to. Look at his brilliance with purchasing WhatsApp. He understands where the puck is going. He's not. That's when you stay in this game long enough, and he's headed into the metaverse. People say, "Oh, he spent this money he lost." That's peanuts right now. He knows what it's going to be, what he's going to make up on it afterwards. So he's getting just the brilliance of taking the name Meta and now taking the name of Threads. That alone in marketing is the brilliance of not having to spend money to have to market that name in that industry. And that's why he wins so much.
Oh, fair enough. I agree with you to a large extent. I just thought, now you are correct. He won with WhatsApp because WhatsApp was not associated with Facebook when he bought it. Pay attention. Instagram was not tied to the apron strings of Facebook when he started. He started as an independent company on his own, and he made it. Now, he even bought it. He didn't start it. Now, these threats, I think, is a bad idea in the sense of tying it to Instagram, it would have been okay. And I agree, Elon Musk needs a competitor. It's been a nuisance for a while. Now he's asking us to pay for the blue check mark that we earn fair and square by his own rules. Now it's not saying we have to pay him. Now it's make everybody make us pay. I understand the business side, but it's been pissing up a lot of people. It's getting too political, right? And even though I'm right wing like him, but I think if he's running a platform like that, I know the dangers of that. First time on Clubhouse, because when I started Clubhouse, I was very opinionated in politics because I didn't think I was going to end up wanting to do business there. I didn't even know what it was. So by the time I decided I was going to do business, it was almost too late for my constituency. It has been a split. There are those who don't want to hear anything about me. They want to destroy even any business I start. Why? Because we have a disagreement on politics. Because that's what politics does to you. So he is going there. And I can't advise Elon Musk. He's easily one of the top 3 richest people in the world. So he obviously knows more than I do. But I think by politicizing Twitter, he's pissing off so many people on the other side of the divide. Okay, I may be with him politically, I'm with him politically. But there's a lot of people who are not for him, and everybody's looking for something like threats. And then threats come out, and now everybody's migrating. I just thought if that care is not taken, threats may reduce the potency of Instagram because they're getting tied together and they're not the same thing. But we'll leave it at that for now. We're going to come back one day and talk more just on threats, right? Let's move on. We have a lot of questions for you today. Now, I saw your resume while I was researching you, like I always do all my guests. I don't just assume because I knew you. I want to know what I didn't know about you so that we can have a very rich conversation. That's why I call it the hot seat conversation. It's going to start heating up a little bit. Now, what exactly? I saw that you are self-described. Even in some reports that I read, they describe you as a street reporter. What exactly is that? What's a street reporter in the US?
So a street reporter is where I'm not conducting traditional types of interviews where I have to have a sit down, have the cameras, have the microphones, and doing all that. So the beauty of street reporting is it allows a person to be genuine. So it's not like it's where you have to, it's not anything where they have to, you get the publicist where we're only answering these questions. We didn't, in my cell on this all the time when I would, this people didn't realize, and this is where we were ahead of the game. When I say we, I mean TMZ in the sense of short form video. We were doing that way ahead before it even got popular. And so this allowed a lot of people to see a different side of a celebrity or a high profile person, but see them in a different lens, see them as a normal person, not in the industry that they're normally about. And that's working because people gravitated to that. And, you see somebody outside of their comfort zone in a way where it's like they're giving you like just showing different insides of themselves and, how witty they are or how demanding or, those things play as well, not just on TV and on social media. It helps them get deals. It showed how popular they are, how witty they are. And, that was, something where, I really, kind of understood how to interview and how to really get people to talk in a way of like feeling comfortable about talking about anything, but doing it in a different setting. That shows real, that was big results.
All right. Let me do a quick mic check here. Clubhouse, if you can, I hope you're not getting too much echo. Because typically I will mute myself to reduce the echo, but it looks like it's playing fine. Can you confirm if you are hearing the audios well on Clubhouse and Gist House? I know we are live on both platforms. And of course, those who are watching us on Twitter and those who are right now on YouTube, hopefully you guys are really having fun. But I'm live also on my personal Facebook page. If you guys are struggling with the one you are watching, you may want to come there. And I think that one is very, very clear because that's the primary place we are broadcasting to. All right, Gist House guys say they hear me very well. Clubhouse, I need you guys to put something in the chat for me. Come on, guys. All right, I see several. Olu, Sarah, Taiwo, Benjamin. Okay, I see why it's clear now because you are not in Clubhouse. Okay, see, typically when you are in there, I have to probably mute when I'm talking. You need to get into the clubhouse room actually, because you're going to be taking questions. All right, let's keep moving here. So he said, just explain to us what a street reporter is. Essentially, you are saying a street reporter is someone with no agenda like the traditional media. You just go with the flow with what is hot on the street. Is that what that is generally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting topics that they can relate to or take them out of their zone. And that's, and I'm going to tell you something, this is what normally works. And this is for anybody, if you ever want to do an interview, whether it's podcast or whether it's just, and you want to build a relationship or get conversation, this is the hack. What you always want to do is, if somebody's in sports and you meet them at the restaurant, guess what? Don't talk to them about sports. Talk to them about movies, politics, something else. If you see somebody who's a celebrity, don't talk to them about movies. Talk to them about sports, hip hop, or something else. And you get conversation and you get a different insight from them in that perspective. And they're going to be more engaging and it's going to be more natural because they're not thinking, you know, about like just all the types of questions they're normally asked about their industry.
Interesting. All right. Now I see. Okay. I see how you tend to catch people unawares. Okay. And I thought that that's a brilliant strategy. I have a video for you, 10G. And then I'm going to ask your reaction about it. It's a very short video, like 15 seconds, but you're going to love it.
Favorite gift for my mom. She's not doing well.
You know, a wonderful thing is that jewelry box that's at
Moose.
that I had on Favorite Things. A beautiful red jewelry box with a little.
That's too expensive for me.
No, it's not. It's really not. It's like $100 and some.
A little low on my price budget.
Lower than $100?
I thought that was an interesting take, where you paparazzied Oprah. Okay, you asked a question for those of you just watching. That's one of the research materials I got out on Colin when I was researching him. Apparently, there was a time, I think that was last year, 2022, where I think he's going to explain in a minute what the context was. Somehow, he found himself with Oprah Winfrey. That was Oprah. Not digitally engineered one. That is real Oprah. Okay,
real Oprah.
Yeah, so the real Oprah. So he asked Oprah that I want to. Can you give me ideas for a gift for my mom for Mother's Day? And Oprah was trying to recommend something in her collection for about $100. And then I think 10G was being cheeky because I know he could afford $100, but he said my budget is not up to that. And then Oprah acted surprised that, what do you mean you don't have $100? And then I think Oprah rallied eventually and eventually gave a very, what was that all about?
See, that's the thing. When I say, when you get somebody and they can be just as witty, so it takes them up a notch as well. You see how she was right away. She didn't have to think about, in the sense of, that's too much. Okay, how about you get your mother, make her this card or something like that. So she doesn't need any instructions. She doesn't need her assistant to say, don't ask that type of questions. You can, like a person like that, and then that's the type of questions like I like to ask, because you have to use it when, this is something what I always say about newsjacking. Newsjacking is using current stories or times. So that was a time around Christmas. So you want to be ever present in something that's going to relate to other people around that time, right? And I'll give you another insight, right? I run that video every year. That video was years ago. That's called evergreen content. That's gold. You can make a video and years later, I'm gonna play it next year, the year after, and it's still gonna go. There's different people that's gonna see it that never saw it before. and it goes viral every time. And it's because it's just because you invoke raw emotions from someone. And as when you're doing interviews, and whether it's on the street or whether it's inside or it's just in conversation with you and your friend, you have to inject thoughtful questions that's going to invoke a certain response that's just not, you know, the same run-of-the-mill type of things they always ask. And when you do that, you're going to get raw reactions, and it's going to be good, and it's going to be memorable, and then you get to create evergreen content.
Yes, interesting, because you're right. You see fans commenting by one of the fans' judgment when he said $100 was too expensive. One wrote, while another said, when she was surprised, they not had to remember not that everyone is in a bubble. Another fan said she was shook that $100 was too expensive. Do they even make things that cost less than $100? I love that. And then another commenter he said, "Damn, the judgment at lower than $100. Come on, Oprah." One viewer said, and then one other ones, I got a few of them. She was thinking on her feet there, and I thought so. Not prepared for this question, so I think she did all right. She's a billionaire, because a billionaire thinking about $100 is nothing, but she realized quickly where she was and what this could be. And so I think that is the first lesson about how to grow your social media platform. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's connect it now to business. Now, explain this strategy and how those who are watching us at home can use it to actually grow their social media handles, because that's why we are here.
Okay.
To learn about how we're going to do that. Go ahead.
Great question. And I'll say it right from how I put that video out. Right from the beginning, from the caption, I put Oprah slayed this question. Right. So now it invokes curiosity with people. What did she just slay? You know, so I forgot about a gift or something like that. I think I put that in the title because it was during Christmas time, right? Okay. So now I automatically, and then they know it's going to come up to that point. My way of getting Oprah to talk on something like that, I know she has, you know, she's real, you know, a part of like that Christmas spirit where she does all these different things, right? But if we ever want to go viral, and this is something that took me a while to learn, right? And I have like tons of videos that go viral, right? The one thing I know is that the same thing that happens in it, you have to get people in those comments to go back and forth with each other. You want them to engage in, some believe it, some don't. Some have their opinion. So when you get some people to, you know, and it could be a celebrity, it could be a topic, you know, you get them to disagree with each other and they have different reasons why, then that's a win. Because what happens is the platform that you're on, whether
can you take that again? How to go viral on social media? Start over from there.
Okay, so this is how you, and it's a good question because this is how you go viral on social media. What you do is typically when you create that piece of content, you have to have in your mind, I want to make it where people who watch it, it could go either way. Two people could have different opinions on it. And what happens in the comment section, they're going to say something. They're going to say, let's say with that video, people was like, I can't believe Oprah said $100 is nothing. And then you're going to have people on the other side who feel like $100 is a whole lot. I can't afford that. So you get them to have that conversation. And then what happens is now the algorithm sees those comments going back and forth. It triggers the algorithm to say, hey, we want to keep these people on this platform, and we're going to start rewarding this piece of video to other people. So they start pushing it out to more people. And then if it's a good video, more people are going to do the same. And then they're going to argue in the comment section. And all that does, it allows the algorithm to see this video must be really good. I'm going to start pushing it this way. I'm going to start pushing it overseas. I'm going to start pushing it to people who don't even know Oprah, but they know about a topic. I'm going to push it to people who are considering buying Christmas gifts. So it starts going all over, and that's what starts creating the viral. And then people pick up on it now, and it gets seen, and then you understand, like, it's either from the conversation you invoked a question that could go either way. And that's why, like, the type of people I like really like to do videos on I like to do it where it can be, it can be not just a controversial topic, but it can be not a no-brainer question where it's a 90% of the people like you going in one direction. You want it 50-50, 50-40, 60-40 in between those lines, and then you have a winner. And sometimes how I find that out, I test things out on different platforms and see what other people engage in first with questions. And that's what I'm going to use Threads for.
Guys, you heard that from the master himself. He's not just talking the theory. This man has done it. Is that the same thing as trolling? What has trolling got to do with how to go viral on social media? Talk about that a little.
Yeah, trolling. Yeah,
because you're a master, right?
You're
a master of trolling.
Yeah, trolling as well is like you can disagree and see somebody. Like if I do an interview and I troll somebody in the sense of like, let's just say Taylor Swift, and I'm like, your concert stopped selling out all of a sudden. Why? So I'm really going negative. But and I'm more always wanted to be a win-win for whoever I have as a not just the audience but the personality. So a lot of times when I have those high profile people, I don't go negative because I know I'm going to see them again and I'm going to want to interview from them again. But if they start in the conversation, start shutting me down or so, then I can go straight in. And it's understanding like how can I be just as witty as them? Like people like Alec Baldwin, he'll change up on you, So I gotta meet that and be prepared for what they say. And that's where listening, when you're doing like interviews or conversations like that, you understand what someone's saying instead of already having in your mind what you're gonna ask or answer. So you let the flow go with it as well.
Interesting. Well, why don't we talk about the practical and you tell me the mindset behind this, because you are a known troller and you do a great job about it. Okay, what about this incident about which one do I throw at you now? Okay, because I got you. All right, what about this one? Okay, when you stuck Hillary Clinton about the $10 bill issue. Okay, what was the strategy? What was the thinking behind that? I read something about you where you were asking about whether the face of Hillary Clinton should be. This is a while back. I'm not even sure if you still remember that. Okay, where you are asking whether the face of Hillary should be on the $10 bill, and the thing went viral because now all of a sudden is what everybody is talking about. Is that what you are talking about?
See, that's the thing where you're going to have people who love Hillary Clinton, and then you get a lot of people who hate Hillary Clinton. So when I could ask her a question and let her answer it, no matter what she says at that point, it's like, because I'm asking her about like, it was supposed to be, a black person supposed to come on and be on a dollar bill.
Maya Angelou, yes.
Right, and all these different people. So now I'm asking her take on it. And what happens now, I know whatever she says is gold for the internet because people like her, and there's people that that love her, and then you're gonna get in the the name recognition, and this person isn't that good. So that's all you want. And then it's something that nobody is talking about, especially when you get somebody to speak on an issue that's happening, because it was just happening, and I was able to really get her at a point where her comment is going to make news. So I look at it from two perspectives. I look at it as solid news that can go traditional news, and then it could go social media news. So that's where you marriage both of them, and it's a win-win situation.
100%. Basically, asking polarizing question. You really don't care whatever answer they give. You win. Whatever answer they give, you win.
Yeah,
it's like your question right here. Hillary, do you think Maya Angelou should be considered for the $10 bill? Whatever she says is going to be talk of the town, both sides. I love that. Guys, I think that's a very big tip right
sometimes there. you have to phrase questions where they have to give you an answer in a way where, like, because a person's not going to stay silent on that, because you have to, because it looks like, okay, I don't want to, be into that. But if they talk and then it means something, and then later on it gets a lot of attention.
Okay. All right, guys. I think we've got a couple of nuggets right there on how to go viral on social media. We're going to be coming back to this team over and over again because I've got the great Colin Drumond, the 10G on my hot seat, and he will sweat before he leaves here today. He's still handling it well. He's on the other side of the camera now, so I got to rough him up a little bit. Okay. Now let's go to a little bit more serious stuff now. What are some of the challenges you faced as a street journalist? And how did you overcome them, especially as a person of color? I'm setting you up right now. I'm giving you advance warning. We're going to go deep into that. But I want to get first, okay? What are some of the challenges you faced as a street journalist, and how did you overcome it? Because I have lots of journalists in Nigeria watching this right now. Okay? One of the people that commented earlier is one of our top bloggers in Nigeria, this person, Niger Hottest Gist. So they want to learn from the master in the US. Go.
I'll tell you. So how I had to overcome a lot of the, negative ways of like being like categorized as like paparazzi, or you're not serious enough as us, so, and I'll say this because you remember what I had to do is I single-handedly had to go and break into Washington, D.C., where it was all buttoned up. They didn't look like me, didn't color like me, didn't dress like me. And I found myself initially coming in there and saying that I was going to dress and wear a shirt and slacks and do all that stuff, but that's not me. You see from behind me, I wear sneakers, I wear t-shirts. This is the most dressed up I'm going to get for something for work or anything like that. So I had to let my work stand for itself, and I realized I'm not dressing like that. I'm going to be different, and I'm going to know how to stand out. And I thought, ways, how do I stand out? How do I make myself in a way, not just the co-workers around me, in the sense of the other photographers and reporters and videographers, they weren't going to take me serious, and they didn't. So what I did is I built those relationships with all the high profile people now. I built it early on by putting in hard work, in the sense of my first thing, what I always would do, and I still do this to the day, is like before I would even interview them sometimes or talk to them, I would like, how can I make this a win for you? How do I make you feel comfortable in this situation and you come out with a win? And that's all I want to do. And the main thing that I realized, and it took them a while to understand, was I wanted to humanize their voice. I didn't want to talk about anything that was normal in what they normally do, their conversations and the interviews, radio stuff, podcasts. I wanted to come from a different element. I wanted to showcase a different side of them that is not really past something. So I would have to do my work, and then I would vibe exactly how they were doing. And then that was something where they started realizing it was good for them as well. And the more successes you start having, people talk. And I think that's the biggest thing, in like your value and your credibility starts building up, because I always tell people, you can't refute your credibility. It's not, it's not something that, you mess up and you take advantage of something in a sense of like being respected, how you carry yourself. Like, am I going to go, hardcore and just, I wanted to be in a professional manner, but at the same time, this is a street interview. This is still no bars, where it's not like I have to ask you a certain question. I'm not doing that with anybody, because I feel like nothing is off limits. If you're, this is the thing. If you're a high profile person, you already understand that. And these are the things the public wants to know. And if it's something you don't want to answer, it's cool, because there's always ways around it. They always go like, don't feel like talking today. And I respect that. I never, in a sense of like they don't want to, and I'm constantly following them or doing all that stuff like that. I might say, come on, man, give me a clip. I know you watched the Yankee game the other day, and they're terrible right now. Are they going to get at least a little better, in the next season or something like that? So what I would always use, and to make people feel comfortable, it was always a soft, open-ended question, in a sense of something that they like, to get them open, and then you come in what you really want to talk about. And that started working for me. And, I started, especially at a time where video wasn't popular. You have video, especially among politicians, it looks like you're coming in for a hit job, like you're trying to take them down and cross them up with something. But once they realized that I could care less about politics. I would go in on general questions, and they started liking it. I had one powerful senator come up to me. He said, I could have cured cancer and went on CNN, and I wouldn't have got the amount of phone calls that I got when you got me on TMZ and you got me all online for my answers. He said, my children and my family members, everybody was calling me. And that type of exposure was totally different, because then it hits different. Nobody knows it. It's people, you always want to cross over. You want to cross over into the pop culture, into the seriousness, into the hip hop culture. And that's what, I try to do for individuals and high profile people.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're learning. Everything is all about how you show up and how you carry yourself, especially when it comes to going viral, running your social media platform. For those who may not be aware, we are live right now with the great 10G, Colin Drumond, former Washington Bureau Chief, a 2 times Emmy-nominated journalist, a media consultant, and he has had the pleasure of speaking to 5 different presidents, and that is going to be my next question. I want to know what he learned from speaking to 5 presidents. But before we go there, I need to introduce you guys to an event that we have coming up on Tuesday to Thursday. Mr. Colin Drumond himself, 10G, is going to be there. We have assembled 12 of the hottest guys who are talking about technology, AI, and how it can apply to your business, how you can use it to increase your bottom line, how you can get yourself ahead of the curve. Tuesday to Thursday is going to be my first AI business summit, where we have assembled, like I said, 12 of the tough, talking and hot doing guys in the AI industry. They're not just talking about it, they are doing it. 10G himself will be there to come and talk about the social media aspect of this, how you can use it to improve your social media, how you can use it to get business with social media. And we have several other people, from drop shipping to coaches to professionals. And I just want to show you a short video about that before we go on. Call it a commercial break. You need to be there. You need to register for this event so that you can participate in the hottest AI business summit this year, guaranteed. Alrighty, guys. We're going to be talking more about that as we go today. We're back with Colin on this podcast show, the Fearless Netpreneur podcast, where we have fearless guys coming to meet the fearless netpreneur, and something's got to give at some point. Colin is standing tall and is giving us the gems, the real secrets. I'm going to implement that. I have some guys that I need to engage on Clubhouse. I think I'm going to use one of those strategies to just ask a disruptive question that has got nothing to do with them, that will make them talk. Okay, I got that. I hope you guys at home, you're learning. That's how I do mine. Now we want to talk about this. I mean, when I was checking Drumond out, okay, I see the man has spoken to 5 different presidents in the course of his career. That is rare. I haven't even spoken to one, and I've been around for a while too. So when a man has done it 5 times, you got to show some respect. So, Colin, what I wanted to do from your 10G, okay? Am I allowed to call you 10G now? I know that's what your friends call you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work my way.
You're my guy.
Okay. Hey, I'm a hustler. Okay, so you want to share with us, if you can, the names of some of those presidents you've spoken to, and more importantly, I wanted to share with us your 3 biggest insights from those conversations, either in front or behind the camera, because when you meet world leaders like that, I don't care what president, whatever country they are in, there has to be an insight that leaves a big impression on you. And doing it 5 times, I can't even begin. If I were you, I would have written a book about that. My conversations with presidents or something. Okay. But what I need you to do for me now is maybe 3 of your biggest insights or takeaways from just being in their presence and talking to them. Go.
Okay. And it's funny because there are 3 presidents and the insights that I can have from speaking to them. And it's not 5, it's actually 6 presidents now.
Oh, 6. Wow.
Presidents, yeah. So it's been
Introduce me to one of them. Come on, Colin.
Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton,
Wow.
George Bush, Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. So,
You're actually talking about American presidents. I thought you were talking about presidents from some third world countries. You're talking about American presidents.
American presidents, yeah. I've had other presidents in other world countries too. So I was just talking about 6 American presidents. But
wow.
The one thing I always take away from this is,
wait first. I cancel that question. List those presidents for me again.
Okay.
List
Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
George W. Bush.
Okay.
Bill Clinton. President Obama. President Donald Trump, and President Joe Biden.
All right. You know the first question I'm going to ask about that. What is your most profound impression you took away from Donald Trump?
I call this what I took away from Donald Trump, and I'll tell you a story, and I'll tell you why. First,
okay, I love this.
Normally, when people are running for president, as soon as they start getting hot and the public, they're getting all media wants to talk to them and do all stuff, they're not publicists, their team, their staff, they try to hide them. They don't want them to really talk as much unless they're set up and, because they're scared they're going to come off the cuff and say something and hurt them. One thing, they take him out the back, they take him out different ways. One thing I noticed about Trump, he stayed the same way. And what it enabled him to do is be loved by the media as well. Early on, people, because you had access to him, right? And he wasn't ducking it. And even to today, he still won't duck stuff, believe it or not. He is the most.
Are you serious?
Yes. But and here's a story I have for you. One time, it was during the debates. It was like toward the end. And he was in this was in, I think, Cleveland. I forget either Cleveland or Indiana. And he was flying in. He was flying in on his private jet. And I was outside the gate because you can't go into the airport because it's a private airfield. His bodyguard see me. He got his bodyguard to come out there and get me and bring me onto the airfield to get him coming down. To have that image of him coming off his private jet with this family and whatever. And now listen to this. This is the thing, and I didn't realize this till years later. I'm not even supposed to be back there. You have to have a passport. You have to have all this stuff. He got them to come and pull me and bring me back there and do all that stuff. And that's how I said, this guy's a gangster. He does not. He knows the image he wants to portray. He wants you to see it, and he understands media. And I was just like, wow, this dude is awesome in that way. So,
okay. Yeah. So it's like the way it was even before he became president. He's a showman.
Yes, it was the showman. Yeah.
Okay. What is your most profound impression about Barack Obama? I loved him. I voted for him first time, but I didn't vote for him second time because I didn't like his policies. But what was your impression of him?
He knew not just how to work a room. He understood a lot of my impression on Barack Obama was he knew how to work the room. He also knew people. And this is something I learned, as it go on. Most of the presidents, they have a photographic memory of names, people, and if they met you before, where they met you at, if they took a photo with you, if they signed an autograph for you, and you don't get that among high-profile people because they see so many people all the time. But these presidents, they know it, and Obama was exceptional with that. He would he could call out names, it was people that he at a restaurant. So it was different instances, and I seen. And then he had that he had that that likability right away when you were talking to him. It's like you were lost with friends, and having that is what gets voters into feel like they're a part of you. And I got that right from him right in the beginning and the end, his second term, the same way.
All right, guys. If you have questions wherever you are watching this for, type it in the comment section. If you're on Clubhouse, or if you're on Gist House, or if you're on Facebook, I will be sure to bring some of these questions up for Colin. Typically, when we finish the interview, we normally will go to Clubhouse to go have a post-event Q&A, but we won't be able to do that today because I have to prepare for the next guest. So, guys, whatever questions you have, you want to post it in your comment. If you put it on Clubhouse, I will see it. If you put it on Facebook, I will see it. If you put it on Gist House, I will see it. And the other places will be brought to me by the software I'm using, even though I'm focusing on my personal profile on Facebook right now. But your questions on the other platforms like LinkedIn, I will see on the site. All right. I love this part. What is your one takeaway from Bill Clinton?
He's a people's person. When I say, out of everybody, you know, this is the thing. What makes a president? They say in politics that you choose a person and a president is someone you look at that you can go out and have a beer with, or for a wine with, and it doesn't matter whichever side of the aisle you're on. If this person is somebody you can go and have a conversation with and is just like you in a sense like that, and that's what Bill Clinton is. When Bill Clinton is out, even now to this day, fans still go crazy for him. He's approachable. He's just like nobody's a people's person like Bill Clinton, hands down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bush. What's your takeaway from Bush?
Bush is, I think.
Which of the Bushes did
George W. Bush. George W. Bush.
I don't know which one
That's
that is.
the second one, the young one.
The second one. Okay.
Yeah. My impression on
so smart
Bush,
one. The not so smart one, right?
He's witty though. He's actually.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
He was actually.
I don't want to try to trigger people out there to talk about me, right? I'm trying to use your strategy, but go ahead.
Yeah, George W. Bush. How I looked at him, and when working on him and being able to talk to him and getting an interview from him, is he was more like, I think they held him back a lot of times. And they didn't let him be who he was, because he's actually likable with most people, but they more focused on the hard side of him, the hard stance, and wanting to make him look more powerful than just humanizing him. And I thought that was a disservice to him, because for his legacy, when you look at him, you always look at somebody who's just stern, the war, all these things, or he has a dumb. Instead of, they could have put him in a way of like he was playful, he was engaging, and that would have brought more of a liking in his legacy later on as well.
Yeah, it was a boy. It was a daddy's boy, and so he had no choice.
Yeah,
daddy's controlling things. I think, right?
Yeah,
he was a daddy's boy. So, what about Jimmy Carter? I thought he got the rawest deal of the American presidents in my own living memory. What happened to him? But tell me about him. What is your impression of the man?
And now, my impression on Jimmy Carter was, and still to this day, like I've interviewed him several times, and what he defines what a president should do after office. He's the one to show people like how you can still not just contribute after office, but be among the people. And most people don't know, like at one point Jimmy Carter actually slept in the New York City YMCA when he went there, stayed at the high-rise hotels. He's traveled regular commercial airlines after presidency, where all of them still take jets, and still to this day he still takes a regular plane, a Delta or someone when he's traveling. And he's just, he did the Sunday services. So he was always just the average guy. And, I guess he's beloved afterwards. And you'll see when he does pass away, which, in the next couple of years or whenever, you're going to see how much they're going to say he was like a people's type of president, for real.
Interesting. Yeah, I just thought he got a very, very raw deal about not getting the second time with that Iran.
Yeah.
And he was just so sad. I like him. At least I remember liking him. I was younger.
Yeah. He was a humanitarian. He's the one that was going to build houses and doing all those things.
Yeah.
Going to church every week.
Well, you got to give it to my boy. You got to give it to Bill Clinton. Bill's a bad boy.
Yeah, Bill's a bad boy.
He's a totally bad boy. And Ronald Reagan, no, I wanted to talk as we end this section on Joe Biden, the current president. What's your impression of the guy?
See, the thing is, too, I know Joe Biden as a senator and as a vice president and as a president and worked, right? And what I will say is, like, he's not given his due right now for all the things he's accomplished because he's actually still in office.
Has he accomplished anything? Come on now, Colin.
Yeah,
Come on, Benji. What has he accomplished?
Yeah.
What has he accomplished? Joe Biden?
The infrastructure bill, he's helped with the part of bringing home certain hostages. He's negotiating.
Infrastructure bill wasn't easy now.
Hold on. Just look what's happening. Look how he's taking down Russia without even going and putting any U.S. military people involved.
He's taking them down.
You don't think America is funding Ukraine to do all this stuff, and America's influence to get other people on board has taken down Russia?
Exactly the problem with Donald Trump. They didn't even have to go take them down. It didn't happen.
We're talking about facts. We don't go off of what should have happened or who didn't.
No.
What's happening now? U.S. does not have to send any military people and they're dying overseas. And Ukraine is fighting a war for us to take down Russia.
Benji.
Yeah.
Benji, it is fact. Russia did not dare to do anything when Trump was there.
That was a mistake. They wish they would have.
You are saying they should have. You are the one not talking facts. Now I'm giving you facts. Okay? Let's talk facts.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay? All those guys, all those bad actors, they cannot move. They could not move when Trump was there. So when somebody is cleaning up a problem that should not have happened, don't give him credit. Why will Russia be bold enough to go invade Ukraine when we have a president? Now you are telling me he was doing a good job cleaning it up.
Okay.
We ran away. Hold on. We ran away with our tails in Afghanistan and even left our equipment for the Taliban in Joe Biden's era. What are you talking about? Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Okay. But let's not get into politics too much.
Right.
You're my guest.
Okay.
You're my guest.
One question though. One question.
Yes.
Does Russia, you think Russia regrets invading Ukraine now?
That is irrelevant.
That's a yes or no. That's a yes or no.
I don't know.
No. Yes, they regret it. Yes, they regret it. Because you're seeing, okay?
Just like we regretted Afghanistan, Vietnam. That's not the point. There's a war that a smart president will make sure it never happened. Now, is it not costing us money, even if it's not costing American lives? Is it not costing us money to be supporting Ukraine? Yeah. What if Russia had never invaded? Will you not have saved billions? That's the way I look at it. They tried during the time of Trump. They knew Trump is a cowboy.
You asked me about Joe Biden. You know Joe Biden is a genius on foreign policy, right? You do know that, right? And he
was a racist, remember?
Joe
Biden was a racist against Africa. You want me to play his video? You want me to play?
We could say that we could say he was a racist.
Yes, so when he was a senator.
But
he didn't like black people, he was a racist, and you are here defending him. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I guess at some point we could look at some older people during that way of growing up, but you can forgive and you can understand and you can see what he's doing right now. I know he's been doing a lot of things.
All right, okay. Since you are defending the man that called us names in Africa and didn't like black people, let me go there with you now. Okay. So let's switch over. But before we switch over, I wanted to do a little game with you. A little game with these 6 presidents. It's fun. Now I'm going to call the name of the president. And I want you to give me one word. No explanation, nothing. One word that comes to your mind as representing him the most. Okay? Are you ready for the game?
Yep.
Jimmy Carter.
Humanitarian.
Bush.
Genuine.
I love that. Bill Clinton.
Loved.
Not Philandia.
Loved.
Not Philandra. Not Philandra. Not Monica Lewinsky. Because when I hear Bill Clinton.
Loved.
Okay. Where do you think Obama? Barack Obama.
Historian.
Historian. Huh. Donald Trump.
Greatest publicity.
Oh, my boy cannot even take one. You see, you
okay,
like.
I'm trying to think of one word.
You can't give Trump one word. That's what I just proved.
No.
You got to give him 3.
Game changer. He's a game changer.
Game changer. That's 2 too. I love that. Okay, Bill Clinton.
I just told you.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. No words. See what I'm saying?
It's one. I'm trying to think of a word, a synonym for not respected enough. Underdog.
You see? Exactly my point. You just prove what I've been saying. Joe Biden has no brand identity. You have to think about it.
Yes. Yeah, of course. And it's a fact. It's a fact.
Okay.
It's hard. You got to remember, listen, it's hard to take over for when somebody else does a great job. It's just like if Oprah would have had her show and then she just passed on the Oprah show to somebody else after her, unless they change everything drastically, people would not have liked them. Whoever it is, I don't care how great the other host was. If they would have followed in the same footsteps of her or did the same things that were working, because you will remember that person. You have to come in and change everything drastically now, and you have your own personality, and then it's a difference.
All righty. Okay, let's move on because I wanted to segue from the Joe Biden era when he was still doing all this. I'm surprised that most of our people don't even remember that Joe Biden actually had a racist past. I'm saying it because that thing hurts me when people try to discount that. But I understand what you're saying. He's president now. Maybe he has changed. Maybe it's no longer in his blood. But it's my guy, Donald Trump, they want to rubbish. So I got to make sure that they are both inside that gutter. Okay. Now, as a man who has been there, done that, how far will you say the media has come in the area of diversity? How will you score the effort so far in the media industry? Because there are allegations up and down over there that is a certain set of people are controlling the media and that the blacks are not getting a fair deal as they should. I'm not in the industry. I don't know what the issues are, and I don't pretend to know. I'm from Africa. I've learned over time that it's very dangerous for me to get involved on one side or the other on this diversity thing, except to be on the side of the blacks because I am black. But I understand that I don't know enough.
Okay.
So how far would you say the media has come?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when I think about how far the media has come when it comes to diversity, what I've learned, and I didn't see it before, but now I can see different things from being in the industry. And I know, like, for instance, I know when a story is told when it's let's just say a black high-profile person, and I'll give you an example, and it's changed recently. But early on, for the last probably, let's just say 15 years ago, when Mike Tyson, anytime they would bring up Mike Tyson, they would always say in front, a rapist, formerly accused, a rapist, Mike Tyson is doing this or whatever. So they would put that in your head so it sticks and you know it and you remember. They would put all the things once you hear it. And, it took now for people to really understand Mike Tyson and really start liking him now. And the media has jumped, because the one thing the media always does, the media likes the underdog and somebody who's fallen to the bottom and then comes back up. But when you hear stories, when it comes to black or white, it's the spin that they could always give that changes the narrative and has people's perspective change. And I'll give an example of, like, say, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods cheated on his wife. His wife took the golf club and beat his car and everything. Tiger Woods was the terrible person in a sense of if it was vice versa and she cheated on him and he took the golf club and hit her car and did all of that, he would have been a horrible person. He would have been charged. He would have all those things, negative things about him. But because it was, different, she had the complexion for the protection versus Tiger Woods, a bigger name at that point. And I think media does play a ways in it, and I see it all the way. I see it even to today with Britney Spears and the young basketball player, and his bodyguard slapped her is what the narrative is. But if you really look at the video, he smacked her hand away, and her hand hit her face. But they won't run that replay over and over and show you that. They'll just say that other way. So it's and so I see that. But I will say it's changed a lot. The media has now changed in a way where, since ever since the George Floyd situation, and I've seen, in my field, and many people understanding the flight of Black people now, and the plight, and where what we weren't fairly given opportunities. And I've seen now a lot of doors open, and I've seen media take a different stance on some things too, where normally it would have been all the way that way. They would only show the purple walks of a Black assailant in New York coming out, and when it was a high profile or just, let's just say, a white person in, for the same type of crime, they wouldn't exploit it as much. But now I'm seeing it becoming, a little more equal, and the country is changing, and we're starting to see, where a lot of the community with white people are knowing that they'll support Black people more than our own Black people even support each other. So I can say about racism and the diversity and things that change, but I can say it from the same time too, because you'll get someone in media who's on a certain level, and they won't give an opportunity to another Black person, and they'll look at them, from a way of not supporting, or your own. So it's come a long way, but it's still a lot more to do. And I think we're coming at a time where more successful Black people who are given a chance, they're showing the accomplishments they can make. So it allows other opportunities to come in. And I'll say this is like, even with me being in the position I was in at TMZ, being able to lead and not just jump out when they needed help. In a sense, what I've been able to do is leave the door open for them to hire somebody else like me, because I took care and did and lived up to the expectations that they thought of me. So they gave me that chance, and this is a 500 company, and they believed in me, so I was given that opportunity, and other people now are starting to get that chance as well.
All right. So how will you score the effort so far? If we have to say from 1980 to now, what would you score them?
1980 to where we're at in today's age, I can see it's at least an 80% or 75, about a 75%, where we're catching up, and we're giving opportunities, and it's still and I would say more of the younger generation, they're colorblind from perspective of giving opportunities and working with people of color in media and stuff like that, versus the older generation who is still a good old boys club, and that's just it's just in their heart, So but more of the middle age and the younger generation, they understand it a lot better.
Yeah, and I think it's also because of the democratization of the social media, because a little Black boy can just go there, start his own YouTube channel, and it's having 5 million people, so they can't resist him. They don't have a choice. Now is a voice, and I think that because before, for you to get ahead, you either have to be employed by a TMZ, a Fox, any of those major media. But now you don't need that. Some of people make a lot of money just being on their own with so that has forced it. But I will ask this though, and I'll say this in the last 10 years maybe. Do you think there is institutional discrimination against Blacks, or this is just some individual guys who are just doing their thing? From what you can see,
I don't know. I think in the main media and main corporate America, there was some of that, but I think over the last 10 years, and I can say this as a person who had some entanglements with the law, and I shouldn't have been given a chance if it was the old traditional way. You know, being incarcerated and having entanglements like that, you're scratched off right from the door. But I was given that opportunity because they saw something in me that they believed, and they gave me that opportunity to, you know, take my family and change the direction and the trajectory of my living and lifestyle and being able to pass on to generational wealth. So I seen that, you know, whereas if I came in at a 10 years before that, I probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity. So for me to say like, no, nothing's changed and the same, I'll be lying, because it has. And I'm living proof of giving a chance what, you know, I can take out of it and how I can help a company and, you know, other people that's behind me with those same situations, that you can, you know, now give somebody who's been entangled with the law or situations. And, you know, whether someone was an alcoholic, someone was on drugs and they wanted a second chance, you know, those opportunities are coming now.
Interesting. Well, I just wanted to, because I see you, even listening to you in different rooms, that you are a fair-minded, objective person, one way or the other, good or bad. You're going to say it the way it is. So that's why I'm going to elevate this for you a little bit, and you start to get, like I said, hit up a little bit more. Now, there's some stuff that has been going on for a while. Okay, you see a lot, especially on Clubhouse, where you see these blacks open up these American blacks. Until that time, I didn't even know that there's a difference between American blacks and African American blacks. I didn't know that they separate us until I got to Clubhouse. Before, I just thought that we are all black Americans, but apparently, those Americans that were descendants of slaves, they call them Addos. I've never heard of Addos before until last year, to be honest. Right. Okay, until they started having these big rooms on Clubhouse. And I'm like, what exactly is this Addos? Then I went to research. So the American descendants of slaves, they see themselves as a distinct ethnic group from those of us who come in from Africa, you know, those of us who are born in Africa. And I noticed that there seems to be a lot of antipathy towards us, and I'm being very sincere. I've been to rooms where I've been thrown out. I've seen what they do to other African Americans or Africans who came in to America. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, simply because I have you, and you're a primary person, you're a media person, you cover this, and you also participate in it. Yep. So you're the perfect person to bring this up. So now they are talking about getting reparations for blacks being exported to Europe for as slaves. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you stand on that? And do you think they are making sense? If so, why? If you don't think it makes sense, why not? Now I just put you on a very hot seat with your friends.
Yeah, that's good, because, you know, I never really think about reparations in a sense of like, am I due them? I've always looked at it where I've heard, like, you know, the mules and how much money you're supposed to get, and, you know, I come from the gutter of the gutter, the projects in Brooklyn, New York, one of the biggest projects in the world. So I've come up with nothing and never expected to be handed anything. So when I look at and hear people talk about reparations and stuff like that, I don't pay it no mind, because I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's I never thought it was realistic in the sense of you know, getting it. But what I've been able to understand is that you can, in terms of, you can find out, like, you know, are there situations where has it affected you of growing your family? And I have learned, and it took me a long time to really understand these things. I would hear people talk about it. And what I know is when generational information and generational wealth lifestyles affects the people prior to you and how you grew up. And I say that because I can look at, like, myself. I have family members that I can go and they're not doing well, and live in, you know, in low income areas. And I can go and I can say, you know, why are you raising this kid like this? You think, but what I have to understand is the mother that they came from that child, and she doesn't know any better, or the father doesn't know any better. So that child is raised that way. And he comes up, and let's just say he's using the bathroom a particular way. He's learned that from his parents. So he grows up that way. And he's going to have that, you know, not that mentality. So the difference, and when we talk about reparations and what most Black individuals suffered from, not having the education and doing those things, I'm starting to understand certain things now. As far as a payment to individuals or things like that, I never think about it because it doesn't phase me, because I think it's unrealistic where anybody's going to get anything. But I do think there should be opportunities for people of color, in the sense of, the programs that's going to help people on a different path. Like, even when we're talking about college, we know, like, you look at Ivy League schools and they can get in because of like one of their parents or grandparents or something went there. So it's a type of, like, you still have to hook up, whereas most people of color don't have that. So you have to make the playing field even now, and I think we have to make situations available to some I guess, to make it happen to that level.
Interesting. Yeah, I think, and I'm glad that I'm sneaking in a couple of questions here on this, because finally I get somebody I can have a discussion with, who can explain to me in a way without being emotional about it. Because the few rooms I've been to, I really wanted to understand what the issues are and why they feel like this against a black. So I'm going to, a follow-up question to that is that, what's your insight into how the American descendants of slaves, the ADOS movement, into their inside with the thing, and how they feel about Africans, and why do they not like us? What did we do to them? That part I don't understand. My parents were not part of slavery. I was not part of slavery. I don't know what happened 200 years ago. Right. But somehow I feel the palpable antipathy, the palpable dislike. And I'm talking for me when I go to their rooms, even without talking. So why is that?
I think it's because of, it's been a negative portrayal of most Africans, in the sense of, and everybody puts, when one bad instance happened, let's just say from scamming or something, or credit card fraud, they put, if an African has done it, they highlight it, and they think all Africans are like that. And they look at it, and then they'll say, this educated African man comes to this country and he goes to Oxford, or he goes to Princeton or Harvard, and then they look down on the regular black people. And I think they just stereotype all individuals like that. And I never look at it from that perspective, because in any industry, in any race, there are always going to be bad apples in certain parts that do these things. But the perception, is not, you judge everybody as a whole from that way. And I think too many times we do see that, in culture as well.
Interesting, yeah. But in a way now, I'm beginning to understand them a bit better, because I do sneak into some of their rooms. I never go up there because I know what will happen when I start speaking for the African American side. They don't even want to hear it. But I think I'm starting to understand them a little bit more, because also, and I think maybe some of that, and my own brothers may not really like me saying this, I think also some of their irritation or anger at Africans also come from the way we carry ourselves. I didn't know that until fairly recently, that we can come off as offensive to many of them, because we never had to deal with institutional racism in America. We probably dealt with tribalism, but that's not the same thing. We didn't grow up in a neighborhood where the 90% of the young boys, before they are 20, they already went to jail, even if it's only for 2 months or 3 months. We didn't grow up in neighborhoods where you never get opportunity to get good credit, because it's already ruined when you are 8. Your career is already tarnished. You already have police record. We didn't have to go through all of that. So we come in, and the average African coming to America, already has a degree or has been to college that was probably free where it was coming from. So and then we sent our best, really, because the poor people, most of them don't get opportunity to get to America. Correct. So basically, it's the best of the Africans that are actually in America, at least some parts of the best. Right. And we are comparing our group, because the average Nigerian, for instance, when it gets to US, is doing well. He's focused, he's doing his work and all that, but we forget that average Nigerian in America is probably in the top 20% of the best of Nigerians. Right. Because the really, really poor ones, they don't have opportunity to come abroad, or they don't have people to pay for their ticket. Right. So we compare ourselves to the generality of the black people there. It's like taking your best 20%, comparing with the 100% of everybody, and then judging yourself to be above average,
Mhm.
which is an unfair. I didn't see that perspective before, where it's an unfair comparison for us to feel that. So the real question will have been, if they take the top 20% performers in America and match it to the top 20% in Africa, will Africans still be above average to them? I don't think so.
I think
So
we'll
we
be,
go in there.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's a
So-
great example.
Okay, so then we get in there, and I also had this mindset, I'm not going to lie. My first 10, 15 years in America, I used to feel the average black African, the average black American is lazy. I always made they complain all the time. They don't want to work. It's the impression I got in my head because of those that I see. Okay, not understanding that somebody not advancing as fast as maybe someone like me would. I was focused, got in there, went to school, got my law license in New York, and doing my thing. What I had to deal with is very different from that gentleman. Apart from mental growing up, where the institutions have deprived you of your parents, for instance.
Mhm.
Very few families, especially the blacks, have both husband and wife and daddy present in the house when they are growing up.
Right.
It's either they grew up with their mother, because the system, the way it was set up, did not encourage people to cohabitate as husband and wife, because you get this incentive if you are married. You get this incentive if you are not married and you have a child, but you don't get it if you are married and have a child. Natural human thing, okay, is that okay? You don't need to stay in the house. They tell the man so that they can. So there's a lot going on,
Right.
okay, with them growing up. So it's an unfair comparison. I didn't know that. So when they are talking and complaining about the system, most time when I go in there, it's like I'm trying to tell them, why you guys always blaming other people, blah blah blah, because I don't have the contextual or call it generational
Mhm.
generational problem, because what somebody's father went through in 1950, he's still hunting the guy today.
Right.
Okay, we didn't know that. Now I'm
Right.
better. I don't go there sounding like looking down on them or trying to say they are complaining, even though some still complain. But I understand now.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So what is your own thoughts as far as the African person in America is concerned? Yes, go ahead.
So how I think about it as the Africans in American come, I understand, and I've looked at it from that perspective, exactly what you're saying, and this makes sense is you guys appreciate it more, the men and the women, when you're in America, whereas most Americans, Black Americans, we take it for granted. It's because the opportunities has always been in front of us, so we never really know what it's like to have to really suffer or go somewhere different and like really experience a different living. And then we look at people that's under us or whatever, and it's like, man, you have all of this and you don't appreciate. It's just like I can live in a nice house now, and my kids and anybody, they take it for granted. They throw things everywhere, their own thing. It's just nothing to them. But I take somebody from, one of my other family members who lives and sleeping on the same bed with 3 other brothers and a sister or whatever, and then they come in here and they fold their clothes up, they clean the room, and they appreciate it. And you can see the difference in the value, what they want to do and how they want to get better. And then they look at, they can look at my son or their cousin or something and be like, man, he's sloppy, he's terrible, and it's because their values are different now. And I think that comes from, so much. And then more important, people get stereotyped when you start, just like earlier when you were promoting something, you said, if I said they're going to think it's a scam or whatever and stuff like that, it's because they start already thinking of Africans of scamming something, and, you get that. So it's just like that strike, right away on you before they even know your character and who you are. And that's something I think, all nationalities should really change in a way of not being fearful, but giving people an opportunity and just saying, you don't convict them first. You look at them in their eyes as a good person, and then if they do something wrong, then you convict them and you figure it out. That's why I think where we need to be headed.
Yeah, I agree. It's like most American blacks, they prejudge us because of what they've had, and because of the story, especially us Nigerians, they prejudge us because, like I said earlier, I think the only discrimination I've ever experienced in America is from fellow Black Americans, which is sad. Okay, white people have never. I'm talking for myself. I'm not saying it's not there. I live in Nebraska. I've never experienced even one incident and it is like 80 or 90% white state.
Right.
The ones I've experienced is really from fellow Black Americans. So they have prejudgments. Okay.
Yeah.
We also, we come here, we have prejudgment against them. We already. So maybe if all of us can be more introspective and be more contextual, in other words, to judge people based on their own merit, based on their own interaction, maybe of us can be better, because both of us on both sides, we're wrong.
Yeah.
And this, the way we are approaching this is my own thought now. I wasn't always like this. 5 years ago, I was very, very different. But now I think deeper about this stuff.
So you hear the conversations, you know. So
exactly. I mean, imagine me meeting somebody like you. You're Black.
Right.
You're killing it. But we judge we from Africa, at least many of us, we judge the American Blacks by the worst of them. The same way the Black Americans judge Nigerians by the worst of them, rather than seeing each individual as good. This is a very good discussion. But I'm going to move it on, because we have to have that race discussion another day. I needed to go through that with you, even though it's not. It wasn't even on my two questions. But you are still not sweaty. I love that. You are a veteran. Okay, let's move it to business now. Okay. I want to share with us, because we may not have too much time now, and I need to get to this. What are some of the top level strategies people can use to grow their social media platform? I know a lot of my audience, this is the question they've been waiting for. Some of them may not be interested in politics. I love our exchange. So what do you say to this?
All right. So the one thing, and this is the one thing I've been emphasizing for the last couple of years, and I'm screaming out, right? Everybody should really think of themselves as their own media company. And when you start thinking of yourself and how you move in business, it's you look at what some of the traditional media companies, how they've been able to announce things, how they can break stories, you know, doing all these things. And then inside your business, what you start doing is you start grabbing and building out your own community. And when you're building out your own community, you have different stations now. And the strategies on how do you really get, use these things in social media to grow. And the growth comes from not just building a community. How do you get noticed? How do you gain that exposure to make you stand out? And, you know, some of the things I teach is, you know, it's part of the program that I do have, 10gclub.com. And what I do is I teach people, we break down, like, say, for instance, when it comes to putting out content, how important is that first 3 seconds? Because you got to remember, when people are scrolling through the platforms, that 3 seconds, you better come with a hook. And this is the thing, in your captions, that title, when people see that title right away, if I say, like, let's just go right back to that Oprah video, or no, I'm doing social media. Let's just say I'm going to talk about 4 strategies to gain more followers, right? That hook is going to say that. When a person clicks on that video, the first thing better come out of my mouth is 4 strategies to get more followers. That keeps that person knowing that hook matched that title. And when you can then go and say, you come straight in with all the no fluff, not, lead up, my name is, I've been working here and this is what I found out on my page. No, say, this is how you get more followers. You literally blank, blank, blank. You do these things, right? So that's getting people to watch your video, to watch the type of content that you have. And what happens is the algorithm sees within that first 3 seconds, somebody's still on there, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. It's showing that platform, this is a good video. So what they do is they shoot it out to more people. So now you're being discovered. You have to start using these social media platforms as just like a distribution center. How do I sell now? How am I on business? I'm on business because there's distribution centers now that I have. I have a distribution center on LinkedIn. I have a distribution center on TikTok. I have a distribution center on Instagram. So whenever I put out content now, it shoots on different platforms. It could be the same message. It could be different messages, but I'm being discovered by people who never knew me before. Now I'm being on podcasts, me talking into your community, and I will say one of the biggest things and the easiest things to grow a different following, and like I've been explaining, is hacking, social hacking. hacking into social other people's content in a way of like, I can talk about, let's just say, for instance, there's tons of Michael Jordan fans, right? How do I grow my profile? Guess what? I make a clip about Michael Jordan, but I incorporate it in what I do. I'll go, let's say, this is just off the cuff. I will be like, Michael Jordan deserved more media attention. He did all these things, 10 championships, whatever. He only made $20 million during that time. Now, I'm going to get their attention because I'm going to talk about money. I'm talking about Michael Jordan, somebody they love. And I'm going to say, this is how much Michael Jordan should have really earned. So right away, you're going to hang on to see how much I really believe he should have made during his career and what he's made now. So you create that. I'm hacking into his audience, right? And then I'm bringing in my take on it. And then now people will say, why is he qualified to even talk about Jordan? And guess what happens? They go into my profile afterwards, and then they start reading, looking at my other videos and the content that I make. So now I brought in a new fan, and that's why sometimes when you can understand how to get, more engagement, how to get people to, follow you, how to get people to, how do you become discoverable? And this is one thing I will say, before it was about what you knew, then it was who you knew, then it was who knew you, and now it's who likes you. You got
I like that. Say that again.
In the days, it was before it used to be what you knew, then it was who you knew, and then because of social media, it was who knew you, and now it's who likes you. And how do you get people to like you? People buy from people they like. And we're coming at a time where they're going on your page or your thing, and they understanding your story. So now if I'm someone and I'm in Africa and I'm trying to get to the country, or I'm trying to really grow whatever business I have, I'm telling my story. I'm saying, hey, I want to come and live in, let's just say, Hawaii. How do I get to Hawaii? I'm going to show you what I do for a living. And it might not be important to you, but this is the struggle. I got to walk to school, 20 miles just one way to get a certain education, because I know going to that one class is going to help me get to Hawaii. And I want to learn. I want to be someone who understands ocean air or something like that. Now you're taking people on that journey. And this is the thing people forget. When you start taking people on a journey, the most important thing is most people grow with you as you're growing in your business. And those are going to be the ones that's going to be more invested in you as an individual. And then they will invest in your business and introduce you to the right people. And you make those good content and the connections right afterwards. So that's one big way of like really growing. And, me, I'm all about understanding how to give people exposure. Learning how to get exposure. Exposure is free. It's just how do you get free exposure? There's three types of medias.
Exposure is free, but it is how you get the free exposure.
Yes.
Come on now.
I'm going to talk. And I'm going to tell you, there's three types of media. There's organic media, there's earned media, and then there's paid media. And you have to understand how to use these. And this is what blows a business up and takes it to the next level. And you, in front of it, you're able to go narrow in the beginning and then go wide afterwards. And and this and of course, social media. You don't have to be in the right area at a time. All you have to have is Wi-Fi and a dream, and really pound on it. The thing about it, some people think sometimes things don't work initially, but the more you pound on it, you're going to get better of learning how to make it work better. And then you're going to get a better understanding of what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. But if you do nothing, you won't get anything. So understanding how to really jump on it and understand when the trends are coming, how to get on board and what to do to, become visible. And I think that's the biggest thing right now. And that's what gets you to that next level.
Interesting. Yes. And I think that is why you guys need to follow me now. They have said it is who follows you. So guys, don't be playing with me. I need you to follow me now on Threads, guys.
Follow him.
Is it? See? I'm implementing right now.
Yes. Yeah.
He said, "Is who likes you." Very important.
Yes.
Okay, this Threads is the hottest app right there out there in the world now. 93 million people as of yesterday night. I don't know how much it is today. In 3 days,
Yeah.
everybody is there.
Yeah. On fire.
You gotta get in there. He's on fire. When the thing was going to go live, Tenji, I actually had the countdown that okay, I was going to be one of the first, maybe 100,000 to get in there. Somehow I got distracted by a room in Clubhouse.
Oh,
by over an hour and a half before you come to me that the time has passed. By the time I got there, I think I was number 4 million. They reached like 5 million in another 2 hours.
I'm in the hundreds of thousands. Yeah.
Oh my God. I should have been there.
And I had a class I was teaching on that Wednesday night. And I stopped to tell everybody in our class to go up and sign in right now. And as it was dropping. And
wow.
I think that's it's important,
So you are in there the first hour. Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
My God. I could have been. I don't know what happened.
That's
okay. 4 million is better than 93 million, right?
I'm gonna tell you, if I was you, what I would be doing too, and I'm getting ready to do this. I'm getting ready to do my podcast on Threads. I'm getting ready to put it.
Are you able to do it? I don't know.
You don't know if you don't try. I'm going to do a 2-minute podcast on there and put the link showing everything.
There you go.
Be different, see what works, And
like I said, podcast.
Yeah. And that's why, like in the program that I have, and that one I have with the 10G Club, 10gclub.com.
Yes, I want you to tell me a little bit more about the 10G Club. Please go ahead. Okay.
So what I have with my 10G Club, right? It's I call it VERP, and what VRPP means. It's about understanding video, reporting, producing, and publishing. Most people don't understand publishing is where the money is. How do you monetize? I teach them how to monetize. We go over how do you get brand deals? How do you get sponsorships? How to create content that really sticks. And, the thing about it, and I don't come from that space initially understanding how to really, work on social media like that. So I've learned, and I'm not telling people what to do. I'm giving them my experience and what works for me or my years in the industry, what I see. And this is how you build a following. How do you get to this level? And I'm showing them all the things that I'm doing. And I know most people have expensive things. So what I have, and it's almost a no-brainer, is because I charge $147 for lifetime membership. And I go live every Wednesday with everybody in our coaching, in our group. And people really get something out of it. And just imagine, if I'm giving you $147 for lifetime, we're going every week. All you have to do is do one thing that will pay for that $147 in no time. And it's the tactics and it's the things that you're going to learn out of there that's going to enable you to be a better creator, understanding how do you produce. Because when you're doing videos and you're doing all this setup, you're a producer as well. Like you're doing this podcast, you're producing this. Most people don't understand and label themselves as a producer. And those opportunities, how do I get grants from the government for being a producer? These are all the things, these are all the, the connections that I'm giving them, and just being a part of that organization, and everybody grows. We go on Facebook and then we grow. So that's just what I've been really, banking on and pushing in a way of giving back.
That has got to be the most affordable, I'm not going to say cheap, the most affordable club out there for those who want to learn to grow their media presence and how to monetize it and how to get access. And so what do they need to do? Go to this 10gclub.com.
They go right there, and that's, and I'm not going to have it for long. I'm not going to have it long opened up like that. And then later on, the price will increase,
of course.
And as I start taking off, I'll be closing it down. I'm going to work with those individuals at a certain number, because I'm going to get results out of it. And that's my main goal, is to really, organically grow, help people. And we reach them at any level, whether you have a business or you just decide on getting a business. And it's important because you're going to hear other stories in there from like-minded people who are trying to grow as well. And when you're around like-minded people, it's going to be that one aha moment that changes the trajectory of your business or your lifestyle.
100%. Well, guys, that is probably, I love anything that is lifetime, and you want to get it when it's available.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know the way things are on the internet, they never leave that price like that.
Yep.
Because it's not stupid. When you start getting more people and introducing, this price will keep going up. But you get locked in, right? If I get in right now,
yep, your grandfather.
Yep, even if you raise the price tomorrow,
right, grandfather in. Yep, whether it goes to a monthly subscription, you're locked in.
All right, guys, you want to go check out the 10G Club? I will be checking it out myself because it's affordable for where you want to be. We are talking about a man who has had 31 years plus in this game. He's been there, done that, and it can take you where you want to be, where social media is concerned. So please go to 10gclub.com. It's on the screen. It's 10 as in 10, G as in God, then club as in CLUB, in case you're having problem with my accent. It's 10, G for God, C for club, L for Larry, U for university, B for boy. 10gclub.com, because people tell me they can't hear my accent. I'm like, don't worry, I'll spell it for you. All right. I wanted to go over it again. What are some of the stuff they get? I'm trying to get in there, but I don't want my screen to go off. What are the specific benefits of being a 10G Club member? Go ahead.
What you get in there is you get understanding and shown exactly how to build out a membership site, how to build content, how to get brand deals. We have the templates, we have the script writing, how to get sponsorships, how to really start a media business, how to get exposure with getting PRs to really hit the right people, and how to act as your own PR person. You know, how to get on certain TV shows, how to get in different magazines, how doing, all these things can lead to ability where you're going to be able to be discovered, your business, whether it's a product or service, to get to multiple people.
Wow, I love it. Well, let me help you out a little bit more here, because I went to the site and I just love what I'm saying about what to get. Access to all pitch scripts for brands and sponsorship. To me, that is what that $147 right there. Even though you didn't even mention that, to me that's number one. Access to pitch scripts for brands and sponsorship. So we're going to talk about how to get sponsorship for your social media in a minute, how to get your brands to be attractive, and how to get your platform to be attractive to brands. You're going to get access to all of that as a member of the 10G Club. Unique content ideas and trends sent to your email weekly. In other words, you're going to be hearing from 10G every week, okay, about content ideas and trends of the week, because it's all about trends. Growing your social media, getting yourself very, very attractive to brands is all about how trendy are you. You're going to be getting that every week. Another thing you get with the 10G Club is strategies and connections for you to get interviews, podcasts, and collaborations. He shared a couple of them here. Imagine if you have access to the whole ball of wax. I need that myself. That's why I'm coming to that club. How to get connections. That's what it's all about.
Says, yeah.
Strategies, right? 10G. Okay, I also get, he didn't mention this, and I think this is big because I have a club myself, and mine is monthly. So he's having a one-time price of only $147. I like this part, direct access to their content library as they build out. So as they are building the content, they're going to put it in a library format where you can access it. I love that. I call mine the vault. So I call mine the training vault, where you can get access to all this stuff that he's doing as he's doing it. And best of all,
hold on, one last thing I forgot to say. The most important thing, money back guaranteed. If you don't get those results in 90 days, you can have your money back. And
awesome.
That's how we're so confident.
All right. And one more thing, I think it's even better than that, because they are looking at you on screen now. It's very difficult for them to get access to you. One thing I just saw there, at least it's still there before it removes it, guys. Get in and take advantage of it. You get 1 hour call session.
Yeah.
1 hour call session. That is already what your whole lifetime membership, that $147 with Colin, with 10G, or any of his team members for 1 hour. To me, that is what getting in right now, because I suspect as he starts to get a lot more people bombarding him here, that one is going to disappear.
Well, that's the first one. It's so funny because I'm about to get a hard stop now because I got to get on a Zoom call.
I knew that.
I'm peeking
at
the time right now.
All right, I'm going to wrap you up in about 5 minutes so that you can get on the call. It's supposed to be a 90-minute interview. We're already like 10 minutes over,
Right.
But I've got to, maybe I'll just get to squeeze in a couple of more questions. I have plenty left, so let me make it count. If I have to pick two from what I got left, I'll take, because we haven't talked at all about AI. So let's take this one.
Okay.
What are the, you want to discuss the importance of using AI tools in social media monetization and brand deal acquisition. Okay. What are your thoughts about that? What is your advice to them? Because AI is blowing up all over the place now. What would be your advice? Yes.
Oh yeah, that's big right now, because the way I'm looking at it and the way what I'm using and how I'm using it is, and I'm going to break everything down at the summit, at the business summit, and how I'm using it to not have to have and pay for so many VAs and different people to put out the content that I'm doing and reach the different brands, because I'm able to scrape information now of all the right people on different platforms and send them my information on what I do, whether it's a script, it's a little short form video, and it's almost like me being able to give a trailer movie to all the biggest producers in Hollywood, when I would have never had access and able to do it in that quick of a format. Now it's what I'm using AI to do, and to build out that and to really build a brand. But more important, everything is a numbers game. And when you use AI and how you do it with social media, the percentage of people, if I have a video and I'm using AI and it's getting me, let's just say 400,000 views, all I know is within that 400,000 views, all I need is 1% or 2% of people that's going to purchase, go on my profile and build that connection. So I'm using those tools to get the numbers up, and then the numbers game results in eyeballs, and eyeballs turn to monetization in a way where you start earning.
Interesting. Yes. I mean, if you're out there right now and you're not using AI tools to get your game going, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Yes. Before you know it, you are going to be out of the game, because people are not playing with you.
Right.
Just like everybody, AI tools is helping everybody to do what they do much better, much faster, much more efficiently. So if you are not using it, be assured your competitor is using it. They are using it to get materials to post on their social media handles. They're using it to do their blogging. They are using it to do all sorts of stuff, to do videos, things that will cost a lot of money out there. So if you are listening to this, trust me, you need to be in this game right now. And here is one recommendation for you. Okay, I call it my own Swiss knife of AI tools, for the simple reason that this tool called marketingblocks.io is my own top recommended tool for anybody who wants to get involved with using AI tools, for the simple reason that it's got 25 different AI tools in one package. Typically, you have AI tools now that do video creation for you. You want to create video from text, that's an AI tool for that. You want to transcribe audio, text to audio, that's an AI tool for that. You want to do graphic designs, there are AI tools like Midjourney or DALL-E to do that for you. You want to write a book, you want to write a blog, you want to write AI tools like ChatGPT or Google Bard. What I'm saying is that this one tool, marketingblocks.io, and I'm serious, guys, go check it out. That tool has got 25 tools that's got everything in there. They've got the one that works even better than ChatGPT in there. They've got the one that works better than Midjourney for graphic designs. They've got an AI tool that does virtual spokesperson videos for you. They've got practically every area so that you can have everything on one dashboard. That's why I love it. But whether you like marketingblocks.io or not, and I encourage everybody, go check it out like right now, marketingblocks.io. 25 different AI tools in one place. You don't have to pay. It's a one-time payment. Now, whether you like marketingblogs.io or not, you need to get involved in this thing called AI. Otherwise, I don't care what industry you are in, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a teacher, whether you are a broadcaster, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, it does not matter. It accelerates your productivity. I know we're going to have the next guy we are speaking to, Luis in the evening, is going to talk more about AI. But you guys want to get involved in that. Okay, my second to last question, because I know you have a meeting in 7 minutes. Let's
I'm over with the meeting, so let's go ahead. The meeting started at 1 o'clock. I'll be 7 minutes over. So go ahead.
All right, I'll try to then shorten that to 2 o'clock
Sure.
so that I can let you go do some work. My apologies. I thought it was 2 hours we booked, but it's okay.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm still within 2 hours. So let me claim my right first. All right, now let's talk about brands and getting partnerships and sponsorships. What are some of the key factors that brands consider when selecting influencers for partnerships? Because at the end of the day, for those who are building this social media well, and we're talking to a very small group of people now, but those people are anxious about this, myself included. You are building all this social media, you are getting to who knows me, who doesn't know me, who likes me, who doesn't like me. You are doing all of that to one purpose, right? Which is to monetize your social media.
Monetize.
Yes, so, and part of the monetization is brands working with you. So give us some of the key factors that those who patronize influencers and social media platforms, what are the things they look for?
So, and this is the thing, what most brands are looking for right now, when like most creators or just individuals, and you don't have to have a big following to monetize and get sponsorships and different deals with these brands. You know, the number one thing they're looking for is in what you have. They're paying you this money. They're paying you this money because they want your audience, the audience that you curated, that is engaged in what you do, and they can tell a specific thing. So most people think I have to have 200,000 followers or this. No, it can be a small audience. It can, as long as it's engaging. So they know, like if you're someone, and let's just say you do content videos, or you have a business about yoga and stuff like that, it matches directly with the audience that they want. So they try to get your audience because they want your audience to purchase things. So you have to understand how valuable you are and the type of content you give. So if I make content with some of these people, and like I want to know what our creators is like, what is the usage rights? Are you using this just to post on their main page, or are you using this to make an ad, or are you using this to do a commercial? And this is difference when you're asking for a price point, whether it's for exclusivity or it's the purpose. So most of the times I always ask them right away, and so they can understand exactly where I'm at. What do you want to use the content for? What type of campaign are you running? And this makes them know right away, like they want your audience, so they're going to use it for specific things. And that's when you start negotiating the terms and the amount of money. How long are you going to keep it on the page? All this, because these are anything that you put out there, they already come to you, so they know they like how you create content. And they love your audience, because they wouldn't come to you if you didn't have anybody who's engaging in anything. I don't care how good, or sometimes you can just make good content and you don't have an audience, but they know if they put that type of content that you make on their page, it will make a difference. And always remember, the way to make content that attracts their eyes sometimes is, I'm not going to come and say, hey, I'm selling this iPhone, it's $340. Like, no, I'm going to make it where it's almost like, I'm doing a video and I'm keep flashing this iPhone, right? So this is almost like product placement. So more people, if they're interested in you and I make it, or let's just say it's a type of, a cream, and I start putting it on my face like this as I'm doing a video, and I'm giving a story and I'm running this, you're going to look at that brand. That brand knows that video gets 10,000 views, or it does something that hits the nerve of the consumer, they end up spending. And that's why they end up coming to you with these offers. and especially now as we're headed to the fourth quarter, right now, and these months coming up, these are all the deals and the budgets are real big right now for marketers in whatever department they're in, and they're putting it out there because they know content creators are really selling the products right now.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, I hope you made your notes on that because for me, at the end of the day, it is what did you get out of where you are. So, I'm gonna, as we begin to run down, I love to learn from the worst and the best parts of anything because the way you are talking, everybody may just assume that everything, the way we've been talking, somebody may just assume that it's all rosy in the media world, that 10G came into the world and now all of a sudden it's a superstar talking to US presidents, 6 of them. When I'm here to talk to one, I'm envious about that, by the way. I do my best. I can't even get to talk to a presidential contender. See my problem. the best I've come.
You just don't know. You just don't know how.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
You see, yeah, you can. You
the only one I got to speak to is Peter Obi, a presidential candidate somewhere in California. I had to chase him to California.
Let's just say, for instance, here's a prime example. Let's just say, for instance, you think Ron DeSantis is going to be, he's going to be running, he's going to be up there against Trump at some point, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I would do. I wouldn't go and try to send out stuff to Ron DeSantis. I would send stuff to his wife. His wife is the big person now. She's getting ready to take it. You build that relationship with her. She's going to get you inside the events. She's going to get you the invitations to stuff. So you work backwards till you get to the right person.
Awesome. But what I want us to talk about now is what there's nothing that is sweet now that didn't have some what I'll call some hiccups along the way. So without dwelling so much into all of it, what I wanted to do is to think about what to consider your worst moment in journalism or as a social media practitioner, and more importantly, what are the lessons or insights that you learn from it that can benefit those of us? In my language, they said when to translate into English, that when a horse that is ahead falls into a ditch, it teaches the ones coming behind how to avoid that same ditch. So many of us who are going to social media and there are people listening to you, more will be listening to the recording later as we begin to promote it. They probably want to be like you, or they are already starting out around you. What is your worst moment in your career, if you want to pick one, just one, and then what are the lessons you learned that could be of use to those of us who are aspiring to be social media practitioners? Go.
The one thing I always remember, and this is something, and this is why engagement really counts. It was when I was working in journalism and being outside in the cold and working on a certain individual or an event, or it would be like, so you're out there with other photographers and other videographers and news people, and they had the relationship among them. And I was like all by myself and a standout, and I didn't, talk to a lot of them in the beginning stages. And what would happen is I would see them leave off on a project, and I would still be there hours later, hours and hours. And what I learned, they already knew it was over, but they talked among each other. And by me not, having a relationship with any of them, I stood up there hours and hours and hours when all I had to do was have good conversation, and just try to, sometimes you break the ice and you introduce yourself, or you just be in a way where you're collaborating with them, and it would have paid off. And, this is something I learned years later. And as far as getting information, people will give you information, but if you're always having a closed mind as looking at them as competition, it caused me, hours and years of not just like.
I want one story, 10G, a story that exemplifies of what happened, of your worst moment. Something happened.
I get it.
What you learn from it that we can all learn from. You got to give it to me.
I'm going to give it to you. One story is working on Jennifer Aniston. She was the biggest at the time. It was when she was going with the divorce with her and Brad Pitt. So the photos of her was like, money was like, but it was in the freezing cold. It was like probably in New York in Central Park, and waters over.
No way.
People, yes. and not having the relationship with the doorman to know she was not even at the hotel anymore. She was in California. We were out there for 2 days, 2 days in the cold. You couldn't leave. And it was because of me and the doorman had an argument way before, and I never understood. He told me this years later. He said, I would have told you, but you weren't nice at the beginning. And always be nice to people, the smallest people under you.
I love that.
Can help you later on.
Wow.
So it's just
what are the lessons from that? So you booked this appointment because you cut out a little bit, maybe from my end. So I didn't hear about like 10, 15 seconds. But what I think I heard is that you booked an appointment with this superstar to go interview the person, and then you got in there.
No. This is when I was a photographer, when I was doing paparazzi work. And
okay.
It was the biggest story at the time. It was when Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt had just divorced. So nobody had gotten photos of her yet. So any photos of her was a large amount of money. And it was tons of us photographers. We waited out there outside of the Ritz Hotel in Central Park. And I had an argument with that same doorman, probably a month before. And and he would have told me she wasn't even there. She had left, and she was in California for 2 days. So we waited out there for 2 days, and she was there. So the reason why I say is the people, smaller people, sometimes you have to, that's under you, not under you, but you don't look at them at their level. They have information, so you treat each people kindly, and it's a lot better later on.
Wow, I think that is massive, guys. 100%, because especially many of these big celebrities, the ones that can give you genuine information are the drivers, the gatesman, and all that. I remember that it happened to me in Nigeria once. I wanted to see. I was just up and coming, hustling then. I didn't have any money here, but I was a big man. I really wanted to see because I was sure if I can have FaceTime with that person, I can get what I needed. I needed them to come to an event. It's like trying to get you to come to this event. I know how to chase you to different rooms, right? Even though you didn't make me chase you too hard, and I appreciate that. But if you had not agreed, I would have been chasing you until you said yes. So I went to that guy's house, and then I was friendly with the security guard. He has a big security and all of that stuff. And he told me he was not home and that I can't even see him anyway. They don't know when he's going to come back. But I was gisting with the guy. And when I was leaving, I even gave him a little money. Okay, just say, okay, thank you so much for at least entertaining me and all that. Guess what? 3 days later, this man called me, the gate man. He said, "Oh, guy is here now, and madam is there, and they're having some friendly whatever that if you come now, you won't be able to get in the house. They want to do inside. Don't mention my name. I can get you in." And that's what I did. Yes, so I got in there, and the guy got me in there, and I was able to, as I was entering, the man himself was trying to get out of the room to go to another, and we stood looking at each other. And I was like, "Who are you?" And then I introduced myself, and I got my time. Yeah. He's like, "How did you get here?" I said, "Well, I was just lucky. I saw the gate open." He said, "I'm going to fire that guy." I said, "No, sir." He asked me if I had an IV, and I told him I did. So the man said, "Whatever." So he took me to his other living room. "Okay, what do you want?" And then I ended up doing a big business with the man. Not that time, like 12 years later.
Wow.
He was looking for somebody, and he called me. He remembered that conversation of 12 years. I wasn't even in Nigeria anymore. Then he brought me to Nigeria to come and consult for him 12 years after we had a meeting.
Wow.
And I was able to have that meeting because the security man called me. So very, very important lesson, because we forget that. Sometimes because we are privileged to get an appointment or to be friends with somebody, we look down on those who support them. Their drivers, their cooks, their drivers. And those are the ones.
Those are the main ones. Oh, yeah. The assistants, because like even that's the same way I built my profile on Capitol Hill. All of the lower interns and those people, those are the ones that's going to be, the managers. These are the ones that's going to be the directors, and
exactly
build those relationships.
Awesome. I hope you guys got that. Every bad experience is an opportunity for you to learn. That's why I asked him about that, because I know that every one of us have gone through different, no matter your level, and they always learn something from that. Then, of course, because I don't like to end my questions on a negative note, I'm going to be asking him what he considers his best moments, 3 of them in his career, and what he learned from that. See, we need that, because We want to learn from your positive. But you're not going to answer that question yet. I'm going to go and I'm going to tell them a bit about my book that is coming out next week. I'm launching it next week, Monday. And I'm using the opportunity to blackmail and invite Tenji to the official launching as one of my guests. It's going to be on Clubhouse. It's next week, Monday. I will send you the formal invitation and all that. I just want to do a friends type of thing. I'm launching this book called Success Secrets of Millionaire Hustlers. I consider it one of my best books, to be honest with you, because when I went to Dubai early this year, February, I happened to be privileged to be on the same stage with Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Les Brown, one of my boys, former proteges. Stephen Akitayo was putting that event together in Dubai. And even though I'm not on the level of those guys, he said, well, you are my boss. You deserve to be on the same stage with those guys, because he's a big boy now. He's a billionaire in real estate in Nigeria, and he was doing some stuff in Dubai as a big real estate company. So I was there. He flew me down from US to Dubai for the event. Les appeared on screen, and I think Grant. So, but while they were talking, I realized that they were trying to motivate the crowd there, which is like about a little over about 120, 150 young people who are trying to hustle into the real estate industry. These are guys who have never really made much money. These are guys who are just trying to get in. But I realized that all the wisdom that Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, and Grant Cardone were sharing as I was watching them, they are about how to succeed. Okay, is what millionaires do when they already made millions. Okay, the way you think right now is very different from when you are just a photographer trying to break into the industry.
Right. So true.
So when I heard one of them say, well, for you to really have a breakthrough, you must have an original, you must have a global vision. And I'm like, that's a lie. Nobody starts out with any global vision. You just want to make your first $1,000. You want to get a 10G I can bet when he started. He just wanted to get that one picture that will put him on the map. Right. That's what he's hustling. He's not thinking beyond that yet. All the stuff about now doing social media, advising brands, all of those are in the background. But your first thing is, how do I move from 0 to 1? So I realized that a lot of stuff they were teaching, they were very good. They were good for people like me. I learned a lot and I made the whole notes. But somebody who hasn't made $10,000 at one time, a lot of this stuff they are saying doesn't apply to them.
Goes over their head.
Yes, so they have to be original. I'm like, no, originality is hard. Originality takes time. Originality is a luxury of those who can pay their bills. I know that firsthand because Bill Gates, it took him 8 years to get people to even accept his Microsoft brand. Even Mark Zuckerberg that we're all talking about today took him 7 years to make his first money. How are you going to eat? He happened to have rich parents, or people are paying his bills. But when you are trying to break out, you attack originality, you will lose your wife if you're already married because you won't be able to pay your bills.
Nope.
So that the best way to break even is to look for what is working, put your own little twist to it, and get your own piece of the market. That to me is how you start. That's how I started.
Yeah.
That's how everybody started. Even the Virgin guy did not start out with this vision of Virgin group. Right. He started out to hustle refunds, VAT, just to make some money. So I realized that, okay, maybe guys who are struggling to break out or who are in the beginning rungs of breaking out, they really need someone to tell them the truth, different from what they have been hearing. So I wrote this book and talk about 33 mindsets of successful hustlers. If you want to hustle to success, here is what you need to think about. And they're very contrarian. I love them so much because they're controversial, they're different from what anybody's been talking about. And I'm going to be launching that book next week, Monday, on Clubhouse, just because I just wanted to play Clubhouse launch for the first time. I've never really done. So I'm going to play a short promo video on it for you guys to just get an idea of what is coming. In fact, I got a promo interview. I think that's one I'm going to play. It's just about 3 minutes. When we take that, then we'll take the last question from 10G, and then we will wrap this up.
Breaking news with Paul Toole. Good evening and welcome to our breaking news segment. I'm Paul Tall and we have some exciting news for all aspiring entrepreneurs and business enthusiasts out there. Today we bring you an exclusive announcement that is set to shake up the business world. Breaking records and capturing the attention of millions, The Success Secrets of Millionaire Hustlers is the highly anticipated book that unveils 33 groundbreaking mindset secrets for making money in any economy without working so hard. Authored by renowned business expert Dr. Ope Banwu, this book is a game changer for anyone looking to achieve financial success. Dr. Ope Banwu, a leading authority in entrepreneurship and wealth creation, has dedicated years of research to uncovering the strategies that millionaires use to achieve their financial breakthroughs. His book is a comprehensive guide that empowers readers with practical tips and proven techniques to elevate their financial status. When asked Dr. Ope Banwu about the thinking behind his latest book, this is what he had to say.
The Success Secrets of Millionaire Hustlers is a combination of my years of experience and analysis of the true mindset secrets of successful individuals that has helped them to achieve financial breakthrough rather than what they often tell us is their secret. In this book, readers will discover the winning mindsets for working smarter, not harder, and how to make money in any economic climate. I sincerely believe it's time to break free from the traditional thinking that often keep most people poor and embrace new contrarian ways of thinking that lead to financial independence. That's why I wrote the book.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Dr. Ope. With its release on the horizon, The Success Secrets of Millionaire Hustlers is already generating a buzz within the business community. Entrepreneurs, business owners, and those seeking financial freedom eagerly anticipate the opportunity to learn from Dr. Ope Banwu's expertise. To all the go-getters out there, this is your chance to gain access to the mindset secrets that will transform your financial journey. Pre-order your copy of The Success Secrets of Millionaire Hustlers today and be among the first to embark on this life-changing experience. Don't miss out on this extraordinary opportunity. Visit the author's website www.opebanwu.com to secure your copy and unlock the path to financial success. Stay tuned for more updates on this groundbreaking release. Thank you for joining us for this breaking news segment. I'm Paul Tall and we'll be back with more updates soon. Stay informed, stay empowered, and good night.
Okay, I look forward. What do you think of the book?
Nice.
All right. So I'll be seeing you Monday. Guys, sorry, next week Monday, not tomorrow. Next week Monday, guys. Be on the lookout for it. The page where you can get it at the discount will be communicated in due course, not the okwebanwo.com. It's going to be successfulhustlers.com, and we will send you a special package during the week. All right, as we begin to bring this to a close, we have several questions for you. Before you take that last question, let me raise some of them as a way of recognizing some of our guys who are watching this. I see my guy, Dare Ojobelo. Whoa, where have you been, man? I haven't seen this guy in 15 years. We were in Atto Anderson together. Yes, my very first job at Atto Anderson, a consulting firm. This is 1990 or 89, 1990, 91. We went to Spain together as part of the training. It says how you get free exposure. It is for me when you are explaining how to get free exposure. That in my mind, you got to inbox me, man. We got to talk. All right? See, this is why this is good. I got to see this man after like 15 years. Oh, my God. And then I see Dr. Victor Ohai, who's a former presidential candidate in Nigerian political election. He said, this is an awesome session. I didn't know you are here, so good to see you, Victor. We will talk later. And then we have a question from Victor Odusi. One of my good friends also said, Okpedi is a great investment of my Sunday money. Keep up the good work. where do you stand on the issues of free speech and misinformation? How do you curb the negative or the negative one of the two without limiting the desirable one? See, my friends are too intelligent. So they bring out these questions that I'm not going to answer.
Yeah.
Benji, that's your question. I give it to you. Oh yeah, go. Where do you stand on the issues of free speech and misinformation? If I start talking, I won't stop. But I'm going to let you answer.
Oh,
How
yeah.
do you curb the negative one of the two without limiting the desirable one? Great question. Thank you so much.
Definitely a great question, and I believe we're a country of free speech, and you can't, as long as the government doesn't stop it. But the thing about it, when it's like limited in the sense of different social media platforms and how they kind of hide it when they're trying to silence a person, I think that's we're gonna have to find how to not make it happen in the way of those platforms, but there's always going to be tricks that the government is going to be able to do, and you just can't stop it. You just got to figure ways around it. And I don't think you'll ever be able to stop when the government wants you to, see, as long as they're going to continue to control the media, that's, you can't really stop certain things like that. But I believe in free speech.
100%. I'll put my own to there. Victor, you know where I stand. And for free speech, misinformation is the negative side effect of free speech, and you got to take the good with the bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have the loss we have I don't know why people are agitating for government to control misinformation or for government to do this. Right. No, they are already lost on the books. Okay, for defamation, they're already lost on the book. Okay, so if you defame somebody, oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. All right, thank you. I didn't know I was muted on Clubhouse. My apologies for that, guys. So the question we are discussing, somebody had asked, where do you stand on the issues of free speech and misinformation? How do you curb the negative of the one without limiting the desirable one? I was asked by one of my friends, Victor Ducey, I think is joining us from Facebook. All right, so, and Tenji already answered. My own question, my own response here, Victor, is that I'm 100% for free speech, and I understand that with everything in life, there's a negative side. So misinformation is the negative part of it. And now everybody is got the tools to verify. Yep. Okay, that's the beauty. So you can't say you're a victim of misinformation if you didn't go and do your research. Like last week, for instance, I got one of my very good friends, she's gay. I'm a very good friend, I won't mention her name, but she sent me a message. She said, "Okay, this is what I heard, that they have revoked this section of the gay law that Nigeria passed, because apparently they passed it as a 10-year offense for you to be a gay in Nigeria or to show affection in public and all that. And people have been agitating against it for years." Okay, so she's my friend, but she knows where I stand on the issue of this. But she's my very good friend. I respect her because she's one of those guys, one of those ladies who actually speak intelligently when they are talking about the rights of gays, whether I agree with her or not, but she speaks. So I said, okay, I'll go look for you, because people were collecting money from them in the US that they were agitating for gay rights in Nigeria. Meanwhile, they're not doing anything. So they're telling these American people that, we got these laws passed in secret where they revoked some of the sections of the gay law. Then it turned out not to be true. But meanwhile, people have already been carrying the misinformation. But she had the presence of mind to say, no, let me go talk to a lawyer who we know. I didn't know. I went to a group of top lawyers that I belong to. I posted the question that none of them knew anything about it. So within 1 hour, we were able to sort out that misinformation. So we all have that responsibility now. Yeah. With free speech come responsibilities. And I also believe we have enough in the law books, okay, to deal with misinformation. If somebody deliberately spreads misinformation, there are already provisions in the law as we have it. There's provisions for defamation, for slander, for libel. It's all there. So we don't need more. When government is saying we need to control misinformation on social media, they want to take away our free speech. If somebody lied, and we have the rules already there. For instance, if somebody provided misinformation about you to YouTube, The rules are there. You tell YouTube, this is false information.
Yeah, take it down.
Take it down. YouTube has 72 hours or less to put it down. So what else do you need? So if you follow the process, you can generally deal with it, because some people are going to abuse anything. The same way people take a gun and go start shooting people and now say, let us ban guns. No, to me, I'm not for that. Now, I'm not going to talk about the assault weapons and all that. Those can only be used to kill people. But on the issue of guns, I'm for people having guns. Okay? If you come to my house, I need to protect myself. But then people take that gun and they go start shooting people. And then the whole debate is starting, which I don't want to get into. So, Victor, I'm for free speech 100%. Okay? Free speech democratizes the process. Let everybody talk the one they want to talk. If you go out of your way and talk what is not correct, you go to jail or you pay damages. It's already in the book. There's malicious defamation. It's been in the book since I was born. Somebody maliciously defamed you. It's a criminal offense. It has been. So what do you need government for? So government is trying to use that to then take away your right to be able to speak. That's what I think. Tenji, I'll give you the last word on that. You are the everyday guy on this, but I'm very strong on this free speech.
Yeah, I said, I believe in free speech, and like you said, it's you have it in your own way, in a sense of when you're getting misinformation, how to verify it, and that's what you have to do. You have to do your due diligence, and I think that changes a lot of the mindset and the way things are headed.
All righty. So last question for 10G today. Okay, what do you consider to be your best moment in your career that makes everything feel worthwhile? And what lessons did you also learn from that? Good and bad we learn. And what is going to be your lessons to learn for people who are listening to you to benefit from? Go.
I think my best moment in my career and being in journalism, it was literally seeing LeBron James, and it was just one little thing. It was LeBron James working out. It was just in the summertime, and what happened is normally when they play at a hotel, they stay at a hotel, and the morning of a game they'll go and do practice, and most of the team would be two buses with a lot of fans outside, trying to get photographs or pictures with some of the players, and most of the team. So this was like about 95. The humidity was high. And LeBron comes back. When the bus pulls up, most of the players come over. LeBron comes back jogging, and this is in his career. And you're just looking at it. It showed me that work ethic. He's the best player in the league. And instead of riding on that bus like the rest of the players, after he practiced, he's coming back jogging and working out even more and going into the hotel. And that just showed something like, if I wanted to be great and be good at what I do, I'm just not going to put in a regular effort by just going to practice. I'm going to do something after, and I'm going to condition myself to be able to do these things. And that's going to give me that longevity in the game. And then now I look back years later, he's still playing at a high level. And it's because he took care of his body, and he still was getting better every day and didn't look at it that he was already on the top. He still was working to where he wanted to be. And that's the difference between the average players, all-stars, superstars, and legendary people. It's the same thing in business. And that's one thing I always take away. When I feel like, if I'm getting comfortable in what I'm doing, I got to do something different, because most of the biggest people, they're uncomfortable in a successful space because they need more than continuously doing. And that's the mindset I started living. I've always taken that away with me. I feel down when I push and get better.
100%. I love that. You got to keep bringing it, consistency. Yeah. You can't get comfortable with success. And I think you can. And I think that's just, take someone like me, for instance, that's the mistake. That consistency, bringing it every day. By now, I should have a very successful podcast. Right. But what happens, I do it for 1 or 2 days, then I go to sleep. You have to bring it every day.
Yeah, and even when you get good at it, when you get to that level, you got to still be good. You figure ways to get better. And that's what the greats do.
Yes, Michael Jordan, just to key into that, when I was reading his book, the man says every day after they finish practice, he has to do 500 free throws before he goes home. Even when he has become MVP of the league, he still does it every day. You can't be comfortable in your current success or your growth stops. I think that's a powerful, powerful way to actually bring this thing to an end. No matter where you are, if you want to maintain and keep growing, you got to stay consistent. You got to stay hungry, okay, with what you do. Thank you so much, 10G. You are a true 10G man. Now I know why they call you 10G. He's a man that brings it 10 times in a day. Yeah, Colin, for those of you just joining us, Colin Drumond, 10G is a man who has spoken. Okay, that means he has seen them, not on Zoom. Okay, live, 6 presidents, and able to have interaction with them. He's a 2-time nominated Emmy Award media consultant. He has had the pleasure, I love that part of his resume, of speaking to 6 living USA presidents. My time is coming, 10G. I'm going to be like you when I grow up. All right? I'm going to give you the last words in the video. Guys, be on the lookout. We are going to be running some of these live stuff with 10G on my podcast, which is now on Spotify for podcasters. I just got it created, and I'm going to try my best. I do not promise I'm going to be able to get quality guests every day, but my goal is to be as consistent as I can. The days I can get 2, I'm going to bring them, because for me, it is worth it to learn from them and also bring you all this quality. So today, we're actually blessed to have 2 powerful guests. We've had 10G. Later tonight, we are going to be having Luis Estrella. For those of you who have been hearing rumors about AI, how you can use the AI to do this, how you can use ChatGPT to do that, we are bringing what I call the prompt engineering king. I call it the maestro. It's going to be coming tonight, and most of our talk is going to be around ChatGPT, AI, and prompt engineering, even though it's also real estate in its own right. I'm not going to talk about real estate much. I want us to talk about ChatGPT, how it can help you, how you can use it in your business right now, regardless of the business you are in. You don't want to miss that. I know it's going to be late for our fans on the West African coast, because it's 6 p.m. my time, which makes it like midnight where you are. But there will be recording. We are going to be live on my Facebook page. We're going to be live on my YouTube page. We're going to be live on my LinkedIn page. We're going to be live on Clubhouse. So whichever one you feel comfortable with, I want to encourage you, if you can't stay up tonight, to be with me and Luis Estrella at 6 p.m. New York time. You want to make sure you watch the recording when you wake up from Lagos. God bless you. Of course, I'm going to end with this before I ask 10G to give his closing comments. With this event that is coming up, is very important to me for 2 reasons. One, it gives me opportunity to be able to bring AI into your living rooms. For all those of you, my friends who are in Africa, those of you who are here in the US, in the UK, you have been hearing about this thing called AI, ChatGPT, but you really have not seen the depth of it and how it can affect your bottom line and how it can affect your business, whether you are ready or not, whether you want it or not. So we put together this summit, AI Business Summit, that is coming up Tuesday to Thursday, 10 a.m. New York time to 4 p.m. New York time every day. I want to encourage you to be here. I'm going to play the promo video, 1-minute promo video before we go. But where you register is businesssummit.ai. There are 3 registration options there. There's the free for those who can afford to pay the guests. None of them is charging me money to come. So I want to be very clear about that. They're just doing it on goodwill. They are going to be speaking for minimum 60 to 75 minutes each. And I'm talking proper teaching. It's not Q&A. They're going to come with a training. 10G is going to be there to talk to you about how to monetize your social media, which all of us should be interested in. We have people from 12 different sectors. We have people who are going to be talking about how to create your first course as a professional using ChatGPT and make money with it. We have Ifiok is going to be coming to talk to us about how you can generate income as a freelancer using very simple AI tools. We're going to be having Lekon Bashua. Lekon Bashua is a project management manager at Google Inc. and is also the founder of F3 Ventures. His company helps people from places like Africa and beyond to source capital for their business startups. If you have a small business project and all that, so and you are trying to understand how to use AI tools to attract angel investors into your business, you want to come there and meet with Lekon Bashua. We're going to be having Professor Chris Imafidon, one of the most impactful Nigerians in Europe, especially UK right now. I didn't know that much about the man, even though I've read about him. Is the patriarch of the genius family. You have heard about that thing that was in the newspapers all over the place several years ago about a family where everybody in that family is a genius. All his kids graduated college before when they are supposed to still be in high school. They were passing that GCE or whatever they do after high school when they're in year one. And people thought all his children were geniuses, but it will tell you they're not geniuses, that are strategies. It teaches them to make them to excel and be geniuses. And he has tried it by also picking regular people from different universities, different schools, high schools, and teaching them to ace their ACT or whatever they call it in UK. But beyond all, it's one of those few who have been messing with AI since 2012. I was stunned when I heard that he said he wrote a book with AI back in 2012 on the royal family that went viral and ended up on the New York Times bestseller list. He's going to be coming to show you how to get your AI-assisted book to become a bestseller in the marketplace. I particularly want to see him for that because I've got many books I've written. I want to know how to get it to a New York bestseller. Professor Chris Imafidon, an advisor to the Royals, is going to be here as part of the event. David Jones, co-founder and the CEO of the Hello LLC, is coming at you from the metaverse angle. In the last few days that I've been exposed to this gentleman, I've come to understand the metaverse better. He's passionate. I always say he's in a dreamland where metaverse is concerned. He breathes it. He lives it. But in his own world, is able to convince people like me who are skeptical about metaverse or the potential of it, to the point right now where I'm trying to migrate several of my businesses into the metaverse. So he's going to be coming out to profit with the metaverse, how to get in there, how to get yourself established, and how to profit from it. You don't want to miss David Jones' session. It is totally mind-boggling. A lot of people thought metaverse is dead. David Jones will show you that he has not even started. You want to be there. And of course, Luis Estrella, my prompt engineering coach, and John of ChatGPT will be here to do his thing. Hot Potter III, the AI prompt engineering expert himself, and he comes at it from the point of view of neurodivergent individuals. He helps them to clarify their thoughts on AI. And that man is just, he's contrarian like me. That's why I love him. He says it the way it is. Me and him even fights. But man, that guy is bloody loaded. You want to be here for him. We have Sherry Coleman, okay, who is doing great things, teaching professionals how to create and launch their courses as professionals in their different fields. So whatever industry you are in, maybe you're overdue for a course that people can pay you anywhere from $497 to $2,000 that you can create easily using ChatGPT. Sherry Coleman will be there. He is the creator of the all-in-one course builder that can show you how to create a course with one prompt. No longer any long thing. We have Rume Hofi, the crypto preacher, is going to be there to come talk to us about how to merge AI with crypto and be ahead of the market. So it's a great event coming up Tuesday to Thursday. You want to register for that, you go to businesssummit.ai and you can just take the one that is convenient. We have free, we have silver that gives you a lot more than just attending the event, and then we have the gold that gives you a lot more. Whatever is convenient for you. The important thing is for you to be able to attend, either as a free guest or as a paying guest. It's all there for you. Here is a short video on that, just to give you an idea of what to expect before we come back and put this to bed. All right, guys. Again, ignore the timing on the video. It is 10 a.m. New York time to 4 p.m. New York. That is 3 p.m. Nigerian time to 9 p.m. Nigerian time. That's the best time we can get to make sure that both time zones are able to participate. Please be there. BusinessSummit.com. I'm going to give 10G. 10G, thank you so much for coming here. Can you give us your closing comments?
My closing comments is I just look forward to being at the Business Summit. I speak on Wednesday. And if you want to reach me, I have a program what I do every Wednesday live, answer questions, and you could always, be a part of it. It won't last long, and opportunities are going to be there. If it's something you're serious and you're trying to grow with your business, and we reach people at any level, just, come to, 10gclub.com, and you'll be a part of the organization in the group. And as we grow together. So I will see me on Wednesday, and looking forward to being at the Business Summit.ai.
Awesome, guys. If you haven't checked out 10g.club, 10gclub.com, guys, go check it out. You probably will be doing yourself a great favor being in the same group. I'm going to be there, and I know a lot of top level guys are there. You can only learn. 10gclub.com. Write that down just in case you need to go there later. Thank you so much, 10G, for being a trooper. Now I'm the one that sweated. You got me to sweat at the end of the day. I appreciate everybody watching us from all over the world. Those who are watching on LinkedIn, those who are watching on Facebook, those who are watching on YouTube, and those who are watching very patiently on Clubhouse, and of course, my pet project, Gist House, that you're going to be hearing more about as we go forward. I want to appreciate you. There's so many of you on the Gist House room right now. Let me just give some of you a quick shout out. Hussein Banjo, you were there before we started. You are still there. I see Funke there. Trine Peters, thank you so much for hanging with us to the end. King Glue, thank you for what you do as usual. Banji Kola Balogun, thank you so much for being here. Tokumbo Olawale, thank you so much. Oji Kingsley, sorry I can't call all of you out, but I want to appreciate everybody also on Clubhouse. I see Ailey finally coming in. David Jones has been here for a long time, just enjoying this presentation. Thank you so much, David, for everything you do. Andy is also here. Mignon, I love my lady right there. She's always showing up. Olu, Charles, and Shara just popped in all the way from Italy or somewhere. All right. Shara, good to see you. Oh, France, I think. Otumba, Charles, everybody, thank you guys so much. And many of you on Facebook that I cannot see on this broadcast. Bless you. I will see you 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight. And we're going to go at it with Louis. And now, Dr. Kwe is out.